Alright guys, and we are live here on the Five Kings Network, Five Kings Motorsports YouTube channel, Intensity Broadcasting, ERSTV. This is something new for us here. This is our first time ever coming on board with this series. This is our first time ever in the booth. We have called some races before, but we've never called them professionally with a ticker and all that. So a little bit about myself. I'm a racer 6 nights out of the week. This is the one night a week I'm going to come on here and I'm going to broadcast the action. We're at Martinsville tonight for the Syndic Cup Series. We'll let Dalton Kilroy, he's up in the booth with me, we'll let him go over some of the sponsors and whatnot here shortly. But for now, Dalton, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How just been trying to get myself mentally prepared for this because, like you said, this is our first time doing this, and hopefully we can help put on a good show for you guys. Obviously, you're here to watch the drivers, you're not here to listen to us knuckleheads up here talking the booth. But we'll do what we can to help make this interesting for you guys.
I'll be honest, I'm a bucket of emotions right now. If we're watching Sam Whiteside, he's actually his driver's got about 40 seconds left of practice here. They're gonna go on to qualifying, but I'll be totally honest. I'm a little nervous. I'm really excited. I'm a I'm a lot of emotions right now because I want this to be great. And like I've stated before, this is the worst it's gonna get. It gets no worse than this. This is our first time ever doing this. We're still learning programs. We're learning the technology behind it and all that goes into broadcasting these races and bringing it to you professional style. So it will be a work in progress. We will get better as we go. But enough of that, man. We're here for the Sam's Words of Wisdom 250 Martinsville. I love this track, Dalton. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely a really fun track to race at. A lot of really intense racing, especially with a field as close as this. I mean, let's just look at it. We got the top 20 within 3/10 of each other on the track, so it's clear they've all come out to play here tonight, and qualifying is just going to be that much more important because these guys are just they're gonna want track position early. So that way, if there is any beating and banging in the mid pack or just really anywhere, they can be up in front of whatever might happen.
Oh, you're exactly right. I mean, if I'm out here, like I said, 6 nights out of the week, I'm a racer. So if I'm out here with these boys, I want to be as near the front as I can get because we know Martinsville, it's a short track. Tempers will flare tonight. I mean, that's a given. It's Martinsville. It's short track racing, as Denny Hamlin said. So you got to be careful. You don't want to make an enemy early on because with it being a short track, that guy will eventually be back around you at some point tonight. So you got to play your cards right. You got to try to be safe. No fast repair for these boys tonight. So, I mean, you basically got what you got. If you get some damage, you better hope the boys in the pits, you better hope your pit crew can get you fixed up and get back out there. But for the most part, you want to try to keep that front nose as clean as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I do know from running these cup cars, these things do not repair all that well. So if these guys get involved in much, they're not going to be able to get back to 100%. I know some cars on the service are able to get back to, about 98% of what they were before they got wrecked, but these cars are not them. So they're going to want to try and avoid whatever possible. As we've got a couple guys out here on the track. Eddie Smith so far in the 87, currently the fastest with a 19.524.
Then you got Chris Bass and Zach Wetstein currently right there behind him in P3. let's uh let's go over what we have to expect here tonight, Dalton. So we know there's 6 total tires, correct?
Yeah, 6 tire changes, 7 including the one that
Yep.
they've got on the car.
Yep. So you realize you do have some tires to play with, but that don't mean just come out here and go as hard as you can on lap 1. Like I said, you got to be conservative. You got to be patient. You In order to finish first you have to finish. That's a wise tale. A buddy of mine I used to broadcast with told me, and it stuck with me because it's a very true statement.
Yeah. And they say, as not just at Martinsville, but at any track, if you want to be there at the well, I'm messing this up. I'm just gonna go ahead and stop right now.
Just stop before you get ahead, huh?
Stop before
But
I get too far behind. That's more
ah,
like it.
that 87 of Eddie Smith, he's kept it in the top spot. We got Chris Reese out here turning some laps, going to try to get the camera on him. Still trying to learn SDK, folks. It's a program to make broadcasting possible, but man, there's a lot of buttons to push over here.
Yeah. And
That
just looking at the straight practice times, the fastest was that 4 car of Zach Wetstein, and he ran a 1935. That's little over 2 tenths fast, or well, little under 2 tenths. I can't do math now. It's a little under 2 tenths faster than Eddie Smith is at the moment. So it seems like the track's kind of slowed down a little bit out of that, or these guys have just not been able to get into the groove that they were in to turn that hot lap. But definitely would, going into it, would not have expected a 1952 to be up there, contending for a pole time.
we just saw Garrett Kinder out there in Kinder Farms and Ranch, number 13 machine. He put it P10 on the board. Got Justin Hendry out there turning some laps now. He's currently sitting P5 on the board. See if this lap's going to be able to change it for him. I don't think it is. Well, this may be a second lap out. Let's see here. He's up to speed still, so he's still turning some good laps. It's a very good looking car there, too. So that might be a contender for the best paint award. That's a good looking 85 machine there.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've also got another car out there, the 15 of Cameron Combs. He's going into turn 3 right now. I think he's on his first lap right now. We'll see exactly where that gets him.
And he's coming through here. You're hard on the brakes. You're really fast on the straightaway, and then you got to get on them binders. You got to slow that car up. You don't want to push up the track at all because this is a very short track, and you want to make it as short as you can by taking that low line. Now you will see the diamond come into effect tonight, and that's where drivers are going to enter a little bit higher. They're going to go down low, push up a little bit, and then drive straight off the corner. As Cameron Combs there put it P16 on the board with a 1984, so pretty good lap as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think his first lap, he actually may have tapped the wall, and that invalidated his lap. We got 5 minutes left. 30 drivers so far registered out here tonight. Looks like everybody's still in the session except for maybe one Mr. Jason Warren in the 32 car.
Jason Warren,
Uh,
I've turned many laps with Jason Warren on all kinds of short tracks and super late models, and that's a man's man there, Jason Warren. So hopefully he's able to get back out here because he's super stout when it comes to these short tracks. But man, oh man, Eddie Smith right now, he is top dog in that 87 machine. It was a pretty car as well, and he's currently sitting with a 19523. So that's pretty quick. But if you start going down that list, these drivers are not that far off from each other. So you know that's going to create some great side by side, neck to neck racing.
yeah, absolutely, and that's really what these guys are here to do. They're here to race hard. They're here to, get whatever spots they can and do it as cleanly as they possibly can. As we've got the '01 of Mickey Isaac out on track right now. He's looks like he's starting his first lap right now.
So Mickey Isaac in that 01. Excuse me, sorry.
I was about to say that paint scheme, it's not the most complex, but sometimes complexity is not a bad thing, or not necessarily the thing you need, because that '01 still looks pretty sharp.
It does. It's looking really good. I like the simple paint schemes now. Granted, I do like some elaborate schemes, but man, those paint schemes like that are just straight to the point, black and white. I mean, that's a beautiful paint scheme. We actually got Charles Stephen Jr. out on track and Joey Buscemi. So I've raced with Joey a lot. as well. And I was never 100% sure on how to pronounce his last name. So, Joey, this week, if you do watch this back, I do apologize. We'll get together and we'll find out how to say your last name for sure. Ooh, goes up a little high, gets into the wall. I don't think, if that wasn't his outlap, that's his outlap there. So he's all good. No harm, no foul in that. Going to try to get off 3 and 4 here with as much speed as he can. He's going up to the wall again. So I think something has a malfunction with that 8 machine, or he was just maybe texting and driving. We all know the dangers of that.
As we actually have Charles Stevens in that 88 car, which another very sharp paint scheme out there. He puts it 10th on the board with a 1974.
Driver out of the Big Fish Motorsports camp. They're a series sponsor. They help present this series. So shout out to Big Fish Motorsports. And Dalton, while we have this little break into action here, we have a few drivers on track. If you could, go ahead and talk about our presenting sponsor of this series.
Well, absolutely. As most of the drivers all know, the series is primarily sponsored by Jason Reisman Insurance and Keswick Group, and you can get insured through them at the email address reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. Again, we got to thank them for being the primary sponsor for this league and this series. And then we got Seth Griffith, who's also sponsor, who's out there racing tonight. Currently P17 on the board, so hope he gets a pretty good run out there. We got a couple other sponsors who has some other little bits here throughout the broadcast sponsors as well. So when we get to those little bits, we'll shout them out.
Right on.
They'll know what's coming.
A lot of people don't realize. So, Five Kings Motorsports, we started out as just a group of guys, a race team, and it grew into something much bigger. And that was because of two things: support from the fans, support from sponsors. Sponsorship, I mean, I know people hate to feel like they're being shielded to, but sponsorship does. I mean, it opens the door to a lot of possibilities. So without them, none of this would be possible. So thank you all for coming on board. Now, Dalton, something I want to look at. I want to see what these drivers are going to have to contend with as far as the weather. Let's see what we got here. I don't necessarily like that one. We'll go with this one. Sorry, folks. Like I said, we are new to. So only 67-degree air temp right there. So I mean, that's a pretty cool day in Martinsville right there. And then you got so the track temp itself is actually 70 degrees, where that sun's been heating it up a little bit. Not not very much wind at all, really. Just 1 mile per hour, so that's not going to affect these drivers with 54% humidity. So it's a good night to go racing, and I'm hoping. I did not look into it further, but I'm hoping as we go it starts to get dark here, because then you're talking short track Saturday night racing at Martinsville in the Cup car, so it's nothing better.
Oh, it's gonna get dark here because looking at the current time in the race session, it is 7:30.
There you go. There
So
you go.
nightfall is going to be happening here pretty quick. Some of these guys that are going to be fast here at the start, as Eddie Smith actually held on to pole position with that 1952. So congrats to Eddie Smith for winning the pole award.
You fans at home that are watching in viewer land, we'll call it. Who do you think's gonna win tonight? Give us a shout out your favorite driver, whatever your favorite paint scheme is. Now we do have a award going for the best paint scheme. We will elaborate on that a little bit further, but there is some good looking cars out here. It's gonna be hard to choose just one.
Yeah, I was just going through practice and just looking at everybody's cars and trying to see if I could pick out a favorite. Right now, I can't. I'm gonna have to see as the race goes on which of those cars survives the longest and keeps the paint scheme intact. And they're probably gonna get my vote at the end of the night.
As we go through the grid here, we got Eddie Smith. He put it up there early, but man, it was able to stick. That's going to be P1. Eddie Smith coming out of JC Motorsports. Got Chris Bass. He's going to fire off on outside row number 1. Starting P3, it's very, very strong contender. Zach Wetstein, that number 4 machine, starting to his outside is going to be Brian Fine. Rounding out that top 5 tonight, it's going to be Justin Hendry coming out of Sega Keith Motorsports in that 85 machine. Another good looking car, like we said, with Chris Reese starting on his outside P6. Moving on to P7, you got Jonah Colbert Kai Shappert, Daniel Cunningham, and Charles Stephen Jr. That's going to be your drivers running out your top 10. And then just starting right outside the top 10, you got Garrett Kinder in that 13 machine. It's that black and pink machine. I have a feeling we're going to get it on TV tonight. It's a good looking car. He'll be starting outside the top 10, starting P11 with Brandon Wallace in that number 99 Reaper Racing Machine starting P12. A little bit further on down the list, we got T.S. Swing, Mickey Isaac, and Christopher Heiner. That'd be your top 15 starters right there with Tyler Gatchek. Uh-oh, we broke it.
Oh, we broke it. Would
Tyler
you like me to go
Gatchek,
through the rest?
William Griffith, Cameron Combs, Spencer Gay, and Sam Wetstein. That's your P20 through first starting order. And we'll let Dalton Kilroy take us through the rest.
Well, P21, we got Joey Buscemi. P22, we got Chuck Peglake Feltz in the 75. 23rd, Justin Ray. 24th, we got Steve Levin. And 25th, we have Joshua Thompson in that 33 car. 26th, we got Charlie Gates. 27th, we got Josh Lokenvitz. 28th, we got Kyle Roberts, who did not turn on a lap. Neither did Josh Lokenvitz. And then 29th, we got Magic Mike. And rounding out the field in 30th is that 32 car of Jason Warren.
Now, did Jason Warren grid? Are you able to see that, Dalton?
It does not look like Jason Warren gridded. It does not look like Magic Mike in the 77 hit the grid. And Charlie Gates actually does not look like he hit the grid either.
That pace car makes that hard left-hander on the pit road. We're about to be green flag racing for the first time ever here on the Five Kings Network. Thank y'all for tuning in. Green flag is out. 87 spins his tires a little bit. That's going to check up the field right there. A little bit further on back in the pack. They're trying to sort it out as they're going into turn one.
Oh, we have a parking lot going into turn one. We got the 01 involved, the 24, the 12. We got a lot of cars involved in that. It's going to take a little bit.
So let's see here. I mean, you just see. So the checkup's happening up in front of them a little bit, but I want to show y'all what happens here to the back of the pack. So it's a domino effect, right? Those guys up front, they kind of check up just a little bit, and this is what it creates. We'll see what the 35's coming in here. A parking lot. It is a parking lot, and now we can get a little bit better look of what happened.
It looks like it's between the 01 and the 16 here.
All right, guys.
It's definitely that chain effect that you were talking about, but it looks like the 16 couldn't just get slowed down in time and kind of sent him around.
And man, oh man, like we said, no fast repairs for these drivers tonight. So I mean, you got what you got. You got what you got at this point. No fast repairs. You got what you got.
Definitely not the way some of these guys wanted to start out the night, but it is what it is. It's still a long race. They can get some damage fixed, maybe have something else happen. Just be there, points race. That's the best option for a lot of these guys right now.
You're exactly right. I'm trying to make sure we are live on the screen. Cameron Crones in the pit lane. Chuck left pit lane. Sorry guys, just trying to make sure we got everything sorted out here. Alright, I think we're getting it worked out, folks. Bear with me just a little bit. We haven't went through the ins and outs on what to do after a caution and stuff like that, but I think we got it figured out. 87 is going to come up here and catch the pace car.
It's like we've actually got a couple guys taking this opportunity to actually head down pit road. Got the 43 of Kai Shappert, the 15 of Cameron Combs, got 01 of Mickey Isaac, who was obviously involved in that incident, and a couple other guys heading down as well, topping off, getting some damage repaired.
Are we looking live on your screen, Dalton, from what I'm showing? Just to clarify.
From what I am seeing, you are live.
All right, good deal, good deal. Just having to work
You
all
and
these
I are at the
buttons.
same spot.
Good deal, good deal. So they're starting to go 2 by 2. I just can't see the pace car. The cameras that I have here, not seeing no. Oh, there she is. There's that beautiful gender neutral paint scheme we got there, folks. Or not paint scheme, but pace car we got here.
Which, as soon as we mention it, pace car is off.
You're right. We're going back
Hands the
racing.
control of the field back to that 87 of Eddie Smith.
We're going
He
to see.
decides to get an early jump, and he's going to be long clear of everybody else.
That's allowing him not to have to race too hard going into 1 and 2 there. As you see, they're still side by side further on back in the field. Let's go back to P5, Justin Hendry, as he's trying to get his machine single filed out. Got a beautiful black and green number 54 of Daniel D. Cunningham firing off behind him, but the field is starting to single file out.
Just a little bit as the next side-by-side battle we got. We have the 13 of Garrett Kinder taking underneath the 57 of Brian Fine. He's actually going to make the pass coming out of turn 2, and they're going to go back single file. Got the 15 of Cameron Combs looking around the 43.
He's trying to make a pass on the high side. That's going to be hard to make. I mean, that is going to be hard to make, but if you can do it today, I mean, you'll be one of the fastest guys on the track. He's still fighting strong on that outside of that 43 machine. I hate seeing a pilot. Well, it gets a little bit loose right there, but able to save it. But what I was saying, I hate seeing this many cars get damaged on the start because there was just nowhere for anybody to go. It just turned into a parking lot. And now you see the remnants of it with the 43. That's a beautiful homage paint scheme, I guess we'll say. Homage.
I think
A
one of
throwback,
those was right.
A throwback to the Richard Petty Motorsports paint scheme in that 43. Let's go on up in the front of the pack with Eddie Smith and Chris Bass. See how they're working out up here. As you see, Chris Bass is he's not falling off too bad, but it's allowing Eddie Smith to kind of be comfortable up there right now. He's not having to really mirror drive, focus on anything really much except out his windshield. And that's what you want at Martinsville.
Yeah, absolutely. And another benefit of being up towards the front part of the field, especially on those restarts, is you're able to be in clean air. You don't have to worry about anybody around you, and you can get into your rhythm. That's another big key around this track. You need to be in a rhythm and consistently fast at, well, again, I can't speak. I suck at English. I apologize. But if you can get into a rhythm fast enough and your rhythm is fast enough on the track, you should be putting a lot of time on the rest of this field. As we actually see Chris Bass, he's making a run, getting close to Eddie Smith again.
He's trying to get there. And this could be a thing of maybe Eddie Smith was pushing a little bit, developed a little bit of a gap over Chris Bass in that 97 machine, or maybe Chris Bass just started figuring it out, got a little bit quicker. His yellow flag is out. Oh, it's showing me that Cameron Combs crashed. So we'll fire this replay back and see what we got here.
Take a look. It looks like it's out of turn 2. Cameron was kind of high up out of the track, and looks like he just got loose in that 15 car.
Just went around on him. I mean, that's so what we saw up there right then was you could see the marbles on the track. And what it is, that's just basically all the trash that gets thrown up to the high side of the track. And he got up there, got it on his tires a little bit. Tires picked all that up and got a little bit loose, and ultimately sent that car around.
Looks like we've only got one taker this time going through the pits. It's the 99 of Brandon Wallace, it looks like. We'll see what he decides to do. As we got Lucky Dog coming around the outside.
Of the Lost Speedways machine, that's a beautiful car too. There's a lot of beautiful cars.
A lot of very good paint schemes out here tonight. That's just going to make it even harder for us to pick who's got that best paint scheme award for the night.
It's still early on in the night. Lights still on the pace car. Let's switch on over to our Smil Racing Design's best paint, dog. And I'm going to let you go first, and you let me know what driver you think has the best paint scheme out here tonight, and then I'll give you my choice after that.
All right. Well, I got to go through my list here. Being unprofessional again.
Well, we
Hmm.
we were supposed to do this later on, but I got to thinking, what if people crash out? No fast repair. So let's see what you got.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple
I
that
need
I'm kind
one.
of in between. I'm gonna have to give it to that 27 car, Steve Loving. It's got a nice chrome Coca-Cola Zero machine,
Ooh, that's
even
a
though it
good
is a
pick.
little damaged.
That's a good pick for the Smiller Racing Design's best paint. I really actually, man, that's gonna be tough to beat, and I'm not sure I can beat it, but I'm going to go to the top dog of the night right now. I'm going back up here up front to the 87 of Eddie Smith. It's kind of a basic style paint scheme, not really basic, but white, black, red. But the way they did them colors, whoever made that paint scheme, kudos to you. You win my Snell Racing Designs best paint of the night. And the 27, you won it from Dalton. So that's the lay of the land, the way it is right now. We'll get our lights are off on the pace car, so we're getting ready to go back green flag racing here at Martinsville for the Sam's Words of Wisdom 250. Send it Saturday Night Cup Series.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see exactly what Eddie Smith wants to do here on this restart. Does he want to wait later? Does he want to jump early? Does he want to go somewhere in the middle? That's the mind games he gets to play as the leader of this race. And he's gonna go early again. He's gonna jump out to that gap again, get into a rhythm. Chris Bass is coming back. He's looking around the outside for a second there, but Eddie's just trying to get back into the rhythm. We see Garrett Kinder kind of towards the middle part of the field. He's running up high a little bit there. He's got the 88 behind him, the 43 as well. He's kind of dropping a couple spots.
I want to say kudos to this 57 of Brian Fine in that Kyle Larson dirt number machine that I learned right before we went live. But he has quite a bit of damage to that machine. But that's one thing about Martinsville: damage won't hurt you too bad here. You just can't be down on power, and you don't want to destroy the radiator or something because then you're going to blow an engine. So, I mean, yes, he does have a lot of damage, but he's still looking stout. And he's looking really strong. Currently running in the top 10, running P8 right now on the board.
And I do have to admit this, Tanner. I was thinking of giving the 57 car of Brian. I was thinking of giving him the award for a second. And then I realized he didn't have a Kyle Larson scheme on his car. So, Brian, that's my homework for you for next week. Get some sort of Kyle Larson scheme on your car for next week, and I will be more than willing to give you paint scheme of the night.
Yep, the Smil Racing Designs paint scheme of the night. You see, Chris Bass, he's kind of, we'll say he's stalking the 87. Yeah, he's not right up on his bumper, but he is causing that 87 to have to watch that mirror. Because if
Oh
he,
yeah.
and when you start doing that, when you have to start watching the mirror, if we have a caution out, it's going to be a big one. I see multiple guys lighting up right here. If we go back for the Kinder Farm and Ranch replay here, let's see what we got.
It's like Brandon Williams is involved.
So Sam
Let's
Wetstein
see.
got into the back of a driver right there, and it just got loose coming off the corner, and ultimately nowhere to go for the 99 of Brandon Wallace and the Lost Speedways machine. I'm not sure who that was. Well,
That's the 33.
yep, 33. So I mean, a few different cars got collected in that, but what you just saw right there, guys, that's a product of Martinsville Racing, meaning when they hit that inside wall, this track is not very wide. And when the 98 of Sam Wetstein hit the inside wall, it basically shot him up like a pinball. And ultimately, that Lost Speedway's throwback just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because he's also been involved in a couple other wrecks here tonight. So that's definitely going to hurt his progress in terms of trying to make a recovery drive.
But we talked about it earlier, and I know I for sure said it, that, I mean, when you come out here and qualify at Martinsville, especially, you want the least amount of drivers out in front of you because that leaves the least amount of chance for maybe to get caught up in an incident. So I mean, if you're in that middle pack on back, to me that's just a hornet's nest. You can be doing everything correctly, and still get caught up in incidents. And I mean, the old saying is, someday you're the bug, someday you're the windshield. And it just seems he's having one of them races right now where he's the bug. But we done seen Brian Fine in that 57 machine. He has quite a bit of damage, but he was able to go up to P7. So I mean, he's still got good pace, good speed. So hopefully the damage is not going to hamper him too bad, and he's able to get some green flag laps in and see what he really has.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I did notice that neither one of us really mentioned, I don't know if you saw it, but I know I certainly did when I was talking about that 57 car. The 85 of Justin Hendry. He had been running up there in the top 5. He got loose out of the corner just like the 98 did. Didn't spin around, but he did hit the inside wall pretty hard. He did go into the pits, and it looks like he got some damage repaired.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, it's telling me that he was in an accident. It was right after the initial accident, I guess, that brought out the yellow. Like, like almost boom boom. No, it was a little bit before it actually. Yeah, we actually just missed it on the broadcast.
Yeah, so apologies for not catching that there, Justin.
Right, there's guys. If y'all see my screen right now, there's so much going on, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just clicking buttons at this point, trying to bring you the best action I can for the Sam's Words of Wisdom 250. This Syndic Cup series, when Matt wrote me on Facebook and asked if I wanted to come on board and broadcast this series, there was no way I was turning it down. There's so many talented drivers in here. I used to race in this series, got off on a bad foot, but we're back now calling the action, bringing it to you live, too. That's what I love most. Like that 87 machine gets a great jump. Sam Wetstein in that number 4 machine, he's actually going to try to stay to the inside of the 97, but that 97 is going to power it off, drive it off the cliff in there, and able to hold P2 as they go around turn number 2, drag racing on the turn 3.
And he's looking to the inside for a second, trying to get Eddie Smith to look in his mirrors, maybe miss his braking point. Because that, if you miss your braking point by even a couple feet around this track, you're going to be pushing up wide in the middle of the corner. You're going to burn your right front tire, and it's just going to make the rest of your run, however long you're going to be on that set of tires, basically brutal.
I've seen a lot of. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, I was going to say, because once you burn that right front off, it just starts to snowball and get worse and worse and worse until it eventually decides to pop if you don't take tires.
You're exactly right. I mean, tires at Martinsville are key. I mean, they're key basically anywhere you go, but especially on these short tracks, you're going to be on them brakes really hard. You're going to be turning that wheel, fighting that wheel on entry and exit. You're going to be constantly using that right front. So you need to mitigate as much as you can to not just burn it up. Try to pace yourself. Just get a comfortable race pace, as you see, and what you mentioned a while ago, rhythm. Just get in a rhythm, click off some laps, and you'll be okay. But I don't think Josh Lokovitz and them boys got that memo, because him and Kyle Roberts, Josh has gained 14 positions from the start, and Kyle has
got
gained
the 15
13.
car around.
As we have caution on the track with the 15 car Cameron Combs. Let's go back and get it for the Kinder Farms and Ranch replay.
Yeah, it looks very similar to his accident earlier. Running up high there, got in the marbles, and it just came around on him out of the corner.
Wasn't able to save it. Luckily, heads up driving by all the drivers around him, and heads up for Cameron to hold the brakes right there and not slide around the track too much. But just having a tough going here at Martinsville. This is a tough track. These drivers that are getting around here with no problems, they're making it look a lot easier than what it is, because I promise you, this is a really, really tough track.
Absolutely. So we actually have that 57 car, Brian Fine. He did hop into the pits. I wonder how much of that damage he's going to get repaired, or if he's just heading in to get some tires.
I'm worried about his engine temps, water temps, and all that, just because, Zach Wetstein went down pit road is showing me. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, he's still out on the racetrack.
Yeah, so that's a mistake. It's okay. So we'll note that in the old memory bank, that don't believe everything SDK tells you. It tells you a lot of good information, but it might be wrong at times. But going back to that 57 machine of Brian Fine.
Does look like he did take tires.
Right? I mean, we are 37 laps into this 250 lap race. We appreciate y'all tuning in. But we got Brian Fine coming out of pit lane here. Got some damage fixed. Got him some full fresh Mr. Feelgood's. Going to try to make his way back up through the pack. He was running top 10 with a car that damage, so he's proven outright that he has race winning speed. He just has to get up there and try to keep the car clean. But what I was hitting on a while ago, with that damage in the front, Dalton, we know these Cup cars are weird. They're weird with damage. And you even hit on it earlier. You said when you try to get them fixed, they don't fix them nearly as good as they do other cars on the surface. So it makes me worry that maybe possibly if we do get a good green flag run, his oil temps, water temps might start creeping up, and if they get hot enough, I mean that motor will eventually blow, it'll expire, and then after that you're basically done in dead water.
Absolutely, and that's one thing you don't want to have happen, because if you have that engine pop, regardless of what you do, that is 30 minutes of repairs where you've got to sit in that pits.
Yep.
And you cannot come back from that.
Absolutely done. As the lights should go off on a pace car this time by. Man, I don't know. I want to think that Chris Bass has something for Eddie Smith, but Eddie Smith, he's led every lap thus far, and he's looked pretty stout doing it. He's not really had to contend a whole lot with Chris Bass, but Chris Bass may be playing the long run game. He may not be trying to get these laps led right now, you know, because that most important lap, that's lap 250. Lap 39 in between that's just a hiccup in the road.
I have just been informed I need to check our live chat because I am missing stuff.
So I'll be honest, I don't know where to find it at. I wanted to find it, but couldn't.
Well, while we're kind of messing with that, Eddie Smith got out to another good jump and is doing what he can to get back into that rhythm. I know it is very difficult, especially having a couple cautions after a decent green flag run. You know, then 5-6 laps under caution, then 10 laps under green. That can get very
Ooh, caution out on the racetrack.
Speaking of.
So I just want to do a quick update before we go to this caution. Eddie Smith. So we're new on here, but this series has been going. Eddie Smith, he's chasing win number 5 on the season. So I mean, that driver, he's showing that he's not just fast at Martinsville, he's fast anywhere he unloads at. And Chris Bass in the 97 machine, firing off P2 right behind him, he's chasing win number 3 on the season. So these drivers up here, they are fast and capable of winning any track they go to. Now we'll go back and check the Kinder Farms and Ranch replay.
Looks like that was the 35 of Kyle Roberts.
I was showing William Griffith on SDK.
Yeah, the 12 was involved with it too.
Okay, let's see what we got here. The 12's already got a front clip missing. Already had a kind of rough night. Ooh, kind of just taps the 35, and the 57 of Brian Fine actually piles in there, nowhere to go. At some point, that machine's going to give way. That it just can't keep on taking the abuse. Let's see what we got with Mr. Fine in the 57 machine. Sadly, but having to pull that car back down pit lane.
Yeah, unfortunately. I am trying to find the live chat right now, so I do apologize if I'm missing out on a lot. Let's see. There we are.
Did somebody message you and tell you?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So, Jesse Nicola, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right or not. He's actually the commissioner over the Saturday Night Syndic Cup Series, and he was the one that shot me a message real quick and informed me that Eddie A. Smith chasing win number 5 and Chris Bass chasing win number 3 of the season. So thank you for that information. We will not be as off kilter, we'll call it, as we get going. I mean, first week, it's going a little bit smoother than what I thought it would, but it's still not as smooth as what I would like to have it. Lights still on the pace car. They might shut them off this time by, and that'd be 1 lap to green. Let's see if we can see the pace car. Lights are still on the pace car. You got drivers still electing to get their damage fixed. Maybe get some 4 Mr. Feelgoods. Maybe even some fuel. Joe Bachimi is trying to catch the field here. Dalton is looking for the live chat right now, folks. So just bear with us. He will find it shortly. He's a computer wizard on that end, so he will find it eventually.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, you'll find it eventually. I know
Well,
you will.
I have the live chat up on our Facebook and also on the YouTube channel.
Okay. So
Uh,
Intensity Broadcasting on Facebook, I
then
do believe, but
and then Five Kings Motorsports on YouTube.
yep,
I can see both of those.
yep. Okay.
But any other chat I cannot see at the moment,
Alrighty.
as pace car lights are off.
Yeah, we're about to go
We'll see
green
what
flag
this
racing.
87 does here.
So I've noticed this 87, he's kept him honest behind him. He's not going at the same time every single time, and that's very, very smart. I mean, you don't want to battle that guy when you're outside going in turn 1 at Martinsville or any track. As you see here, he's slow rolling him a little bit. Them drivers, they're going to try to guess it, but they just ultimately, they can't. They can't guess it. 87 gets another great jump, pulling the 97 up behind him with Zach Wetstein in third position. 97 goes a little high. 88 is driving it in there. He just drove it off in there deep. That's Charles Stevens Jr. Ultimately going to lose a spot, maybe lose 2 spots here. As the 24 is looking underneath him. They're side-by-side racing at Martinsville, folks. They don't get no better than this on a Saturday night with the lights on at Martinsville.
Yeah, and behind them it is double file through most of the field. These guys are trying to get what they can.
Yep.
The guys that have not been involved in as much are trying to get underneath the guys that have been involved in a little more.
Ooh,
We hear a couple beating and banging.
Yep, slight checkup. We actually had the camera on him. That was Christopher Heiner. He kind of, it looked like he may have wheel hopped a little bit. And that might
we got him spinning again on the front stretch.
Oh, we got a crash on the front stretch, and that's going to collect a lot of cars. I can tell by how red everything went.
The 15 and the 16. It's like the 16.
Let's pull it back here and see what we got here.
Yeah, 16 looks like he got a little bit of loose
Ooh, got
condition out of the floor.
Yep. And we see
What
it
even
again.
was that English?
We see it again, Dalton. These drivers, they get a little bit loose. They try to save it, getting that outside wall just a little bit. And then it just sends them around. And after that, it just turns into a parking lot. Nowhere to go for these drivers. And that's just short track racing. There's nothing you can do about it. You can just try to hope and pray that the luck don't run out for yourself.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, some of these guys have not been as lucky as some others.
So it told me Zach Wetstein crashed, but I think he just came to a stop and missed that. He did. Okay, so I'm noticing here, iRacing live timing, it's telling me all these people crashed because they slowed down off the pace. That's pretty cool. Okay. So we're learning. But yeah, a tough break for a lot of good cars destroyed in that crash, and I'm really glad we got our our Smil Racing Design's best paint out of the way, Dalton, because man, oh man, these cars are getting destroyed out here. They're short track racing, baby.
Yep.
As while we're at it, I mean, it might be a little early in the race, but I want to pull up our Hard Luck Award. And who do you think's got the hard luck here tonight? I'll let you pick first, and I'll pick second because I'm a nice guy.
Well, quite frankly, I'd have to give it to that 15 car.
All right.
There's been multiple occasions we've seen him around. Doesn't necessarily look like it's entirely his fault. He's just getting in some bad spots, and it's just coming around on him, and he hasn't really had too much place to go.
Right.
Exactly.
He's
had some hard luck.
That's the name of the game right there, brother. It's that P&J Motorsports Hard Luck Award. I mean, it's just a tough break, but somebody has to get it. Cameron Combs in that 15 machine. Sadly, this week it's you. Hopefully next week, brother, there'll be another driver. I want to thank Keswick Group 2 Insurance for being the presenting sponsor of this series, the Saturday night Send It Cup Series. Sorry, guys. I will get better at the sponsor reads. I promise. You just gotta get there. Gotta get there. Just work with me. We are on lap 50 now, Dalton, so we're getting there, brother. We're getting there. And I've noticed something. Eddie Smith, Chris Bass, Zach Wetstein. Your top 5 drivers out here have not pitted yet.
Matter of fact, it looks like your top 8 have not pitted. The
Oh,
first
okay.
guy that has head down pit road is Kai Shapart in that 43 car in ninth, and he looks like he pit after that first caution came out. So it looks like he only topped off on fuel. So top 12 right now looks like they are in about the same boat, except for obviously that 43 car. She's got a little more fuel as lights are off on the pace car again.
Lights are off on the pace car, Dalton. We're about to be locked and loaded, going off into turn one again. They're going to be side by side firing off. I think the 87 is going to get another good jump. The question is, can he fill that hole in behind the 87 and take over P2? I don't think he wants to. I think I'd rather be P3 than P2 at Martinsville. You see that 87 get another great jump, leading that long train of cars around Martinsville Speedway. They're side by side racing further on back in the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm trying to give myself a good view of what's going on, as everything's kind of gotten in the way now.
Yeah, I mean, we got the 79 looking underneath the 69. That's Josh Lokenvitz. Didn't get to put down a qualifying lap, but he's showing that he does have some good speed as the 69 is going to go a little high. And man, oh man, I look behind them. I see William Griffin, that 12 machine, looking like a modified out here at Martinsville. That's never a good way to go about it. And you look at our hard luck winner of the night, Mr. Cameron Combs, at 15. That car just beat all to pieces, but he's a warrior for staying out here. Josh Lokenvitz, the driver I was just talking about, brought the caution out. Josh Lokenvitz. You can't make this up, fellas. That is the commentary curse at its very best. Or worse.
And
However how you want to look
it
at it.
looks like, just like with many other accidents we've seen tonight, just got loose out of the corner. And not really much he could have done there.
Tried to chase it, tried to save that car, but just was not able to get it loaded up. I actually want to try something a little different. I want to go cockpit cam here. And we're going to bring it back one more time. We're going to see him fight that wheel. He's going to try to save it. He's just turning that wheel. Gets on the gas a little bit, and you hear them rear tires. They start to chatter, and once they chatter that first time, you're pretty much, I like to describe it as Jesus take the wheel at that moment because you're out of control.
Yes. Actually, I mentioned Kai Shapart. If I'm butchering your last name,
Right,
Kai,
right.
I am
Anybody.
so sorry.
Anybody in here.
But looks like he head down pit road again. I wonder if he's going to be taking his first set of fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Yep, the right side's jacking up, Dalton. Let's see if that left side goes up. I'd like to think it will. Yep, left side of the car jacks up. He's taking forward Mr. Feelgood, or them Goodyear Eagles, as you call them. So let's get I don't know how to work the pits stuff here, so bear with me as I click a few buttons trying to figure it out. So yeah, your top 8 right there, Dalton, if you look on my screen. Top 8 have not pitted.
Yeah, they're holding strong.
And
it's
now
actually,
it may go further back than that, but that's just what I'm seeing right here.
From my scoring, it shows top 11 have not pit.
Okay, well, let's try something right here.
I've got my good old friend Sim Racing apps up. And that's what's showing me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to quit clicking on buttons before I mess something up.
Accidentally ends the broadcast.
Yeah. I started clicking on buttons and I didn't really know what they did right then. I'll be honest with you, folks. But either way, man, I'm so happy to be on board here. I'm happy it's going relatively smooth. It could be smoother, of course, but what couldn't, you know? Lights still on the pace car. You know these drivers are ready to go. And I did notice something on Zach Wetstein on that machine. He has a little bit of rear end damage on the driver's side. So that may have been from that initial wreck, you think, when everybody started kind of checking up. You think he got that damage then?
I would have to agree with you there. I would have to agree that would be where he's got his damage.
As we see, he's been comfortable all night just riding around P3. We have seen some big movers and shakers. Like I said earlier, Josh Lokovitz, although he did bring out that last caution, he was up almost 14, 15 spots from where he gridded. Didn't get to turn a lap in qualifying. But he did He was able to make some passes. William Griffith, he's gained 8 spots since he's gridded. So Martinsville, when I think of Martinsville, I do think of a hard track to pass at. But even still, I mean, these drivers are getting it done out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Is they're lined up. We got that 87 in control of the field again. He goes early. The 97 gets a good jump. He's going to stay on his outside going in turn 1. We got to see how this is going to go. We haven't seen this happen tonight.
Maybe try
So
to
he's
cross
actually going
over.
to, maybe, looking underneath
Going
him.
to try to get underneath, but ultimately just don't have the horsepower to drag race down the backstretch. And we got drivers really battling it out. Yeah, I knew that was only a matter of time. I was hearing carnage, and they were just really, really battling back there. So let's see what we have here.
Looks like potentially the 24 car.
Of Chris Heiner here. 3 wide at Martinsville. That's never what you want, guys. And just runs out smack. Oh, Garrett Kinder. But Garrett Kinder was able to keep it straight, I do believe. And there we see it again. Guys is piling in. It's a parking lot, boys, at Martinsville.
Yeah, Garrett Kenner was able to hold on to it. And unfortunately, we had other guys trying to avoid the wreck. Some guys didn't see it in time. And it just piled up. Not really much more they could have done.
If we're going to try something a little different here, we're going to go pull up this right here. And we'll give you a look at the drivers and their pictures. Do we have Zach Wedstein going down pit road? We don't, do we? That's just
We do not.
That's SDK pulling tricks on me again. See, we had. It's not pulling up nobody's picture, so it makes me think I got something. There's Zach Wedstein right there in the number 4. First driver with a picture to show us. Let's see who else we got here. Jonah Colbert in that 31 machine. That was really close to being my pick for Schmiel Racing Design's best paint of the night right there. I really like that 31 machine. I really, really like that one. At 62, yeah, I like that.
31 looks good. 62. Again, back into that whole doesn't need to be complex to look good.
Right. Mr. Garrett Kinder, we saw him got a little shaky on us right there. Got hit on the right rear, and that's a dangerous spot to get hit on because you can go around at any second whenever that happens. But ultimately, he was able to keep control of that machine and keep facing forward and looking forward. He's currently running P7, trying to get up there in the top 5, maybe battle it out with Zach Wedstein, Chris Bass, or Eddie Smith. That's been your top 3, and it hadn't changed since the start of the race.
Yeah, looks like we got the 8 of Joey Buscemi taking the wave around to try to get one of his laps back. He's currently 5 down, trying to recover in the 23rd position.
As you see, the 97 kind of gave 87 a little love tap. I'm going to guess they're probably buddies. And now, we heard something today, Dalton, Zach told us about, I can't remember, I think it was called the Rebel Smash Up. Please elaborate on what the Rebel Smash Up is. Let our fans know at home, because this is our first time ever bringing this series to them live and in living color.
So, what I have heard is that at the end of the race, after whoever wins does their burnout, the rest of the field will wait. They will stay on the track. And then the winner will get absolutely destroyed by everybody on the field. They
basically demolition derby style.
Exactly.
Demolition derby style. As we see these drivers, 87 gets another good jump. It's been the tail of the tape all night. 87 gets a good jump. 97 comes with him. Zach Wedstein follows in. With Jonah Colbert he's looking to make a pass. And we got another caution on the track with Sam Wedstein went around. Let's see what we got here.
Ooh, it's not Sam.
It wasn't Sam. Are you seeing anything? Because I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, no. I was wrong. It is Sam. I was thinking Zach. I forgot there's 2 Wedsteins.
That's Zach's dad.
Oh, boy.
So the 98 here, they're going to take the green flag. See what happens. Gets on. Oh, the 35 actually went around, spun his tires on the restart there, and just left nowhere for that 98 machine of Sam to even think about going. And he just get piled into. And we saw about 3 to 4 drivers who actually get caught up in that one as well.
Yeah, we had the 99 involved in that, the 43, obviously the 35 with his wheel spin coming out of the corner there.
So, Dalton, you run a lot of these NASCAR style races, longer style races, I'll say. I'm more of a short track guy now. I do venture into the NASCAR side, but my roots are short track. If you're Eddie Smith, Chris Bass, Zach, any of these guys within, we'll say even the top 10, and if you have not pitted, are you thinking tires now, or are you wanting to break off a green flag run before that happens?
I would say probably get a green flag run because with the way this race has kind of started out, there haven't really been too many green flag runs, and the green flag runs we have had haven't been too long, so they haven't really been putting a beating on their tires. It's just the constant heating up for a little bit, then cooling it right back down, heating it back up, cooling it right back down. That it in itself could get these guys a little bit messed up
Right.
on these restarts. Um, but right now, just stay where they're at and try and run the fuel as far as they can go.
That's one thing we don't know. We don't know what the fuel is like. If I had to guess, I don't want to guess because I'll probably be wrong no matter what. But I was gonna say maybe it was full to begin with, but iRacing does have a setting where you can go in there and you can put 50% fuel, 20% fuel,
It's
10%
a it's
fuel.
100% fuel.
It is
It is
100%.
100%.
Okay, good deal. So they got a full tank when they started this race. I'm not sure how far that would go. I don't even want to guess on that. It keeps telling me Zach Wetstein went down pit lane, so it's something he's doing running that low line. Because it's only the guys on the low line that I'm noticing doing it. So
Yeah, it could be because they're close to the little
right,
detection point.
yeah, it has to be something to do with that cone right there, or whatever,
Maybe,
where the
maybe they're
detection
hitting the
point.
virtual cone.
Right, that virtual cone gets beat up, especially on tracks like Phoenix or whatever, where you got that open dog leg. Hey, the virtual cone's been known to take a beat in a time or two.
As cone lives matter.
Yep.
As uh as the pace car lights are off again, gonna be handing the field back under control of Eddie Smith. We're gonna have to see what he does here because Chris Bass, he almost got him there on that
He
restart.
fired off right with him, brother. He fired off right with him.
He's got to switch it up. He's got to do something different. Let's see, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna go early? He's gonna go really early. He got that jump. He's clear. Zach Wetstein gonna kind of look to the inside, but he's not gonna be close enough to do anything with it. And they're just kind of single file throughout the top 5.
Pretty cool camera it has for us right here. You can see a whole group of them. They're getting sideways further on back in the pack. I'm not sure which driver that was. I'm not.
Looks like the 62 might have been involved, but there's no caution, so
No caution.
they
Yep.
kept it straight.
Yep. I mean, So one of them got hit sideways, and they got hit again. That straightened them up. So it's like,
We got the 66
we got him
around.
going around. So
24 is in it. The 35 is in it.
the 16, I think, is in it as well. Tyler Gachek.
Oh yeah, he's in it.
Let's see what we got here, folks.
Looks like 66.
Oh, yeah, just gets clipped up there, and we see it every time. Turns it into a parking lot. There's nothing these drivers can do, and that's going to be as much of the story of the night as Eddie Smith getting good restarts. Another story of the night is short track racing. There's nowhere to go whenever cars start going left, right, and everywhere else.
Yeah, I gotta make this known. We got Savage Edge on the YouTube comment saying it's gonna be a modified race by the end of it.
That's Savage Edge. That's a Savage Edge Apparel. That's a sponsor of our race team, Five Kings Motorsports. It's Corey Sherman, Amanda Sherman. They're very good people. If you need any type of T-shirt, hat, I mean anything, you think of it, they can do it. That's Savage Edge. Look them up on Facebook, Savage Edge Apparel. Corey Sherman, Amanda Sherman. They will hook you up.
And we still have quite a bit of this race to go. Top 11 minus Cameron Combs in that 15, who's still up in 8th.
So doing good, actually.
Yeah, I think those fresh tires might be helping him
Look at that car,
more than we
Dalton.
might be anticipating.
Look at that car. We gave this driver the hard luck award. We may have to take that back, Cameron. You're proving us wrong right here, brother. You got
Yeah,
that machine up P8, and it's brutal.
I think it's safe to say he is leading the modified class.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like it. I like it. Because look at that
And,
car.
and and who knows, maybe those fresh tires might have him lead the overall class.
Right.
You never know.
Right. Pretty much when I'm going through the pack right here, going through the field, you can tell these drivers have been at Martinsville tonight, Dalton. There's not a lot of straight sheet metal here. There's a lot of bent sheet metal and probably some bent tempers, if I had to guess.
Yeah, even the 97 of Chris Bass in second, he's got a crumpled up rear bumper from that initial start.
Yeah, I mean, I think really the only clean car I see, the 31
Is the 87.
might be clean, but yeah, I think the 87 is about the only clean car you see out here.
Let's see, 31.
And that was your Smil Racing Designs best paint of the night given by myself.
The 31 does look like he has some right front damage.
31 has a little bit of right front. Okay.
A little crumple.
Okay, yeah, I see it. I see it a little bit. Let's get an update on the pace car. I think lights are off on the pace car. I think. Yes, lights are off on the pace car. They're gonna better pull them belts tight. They're gonna fire off, drag race down into turn one more time. We'll see how they go.
I'm glad you said that because I realized I was not live, so
It's fun, bro.
I'm caught back up.
When you're broadcasting and you realize you haven't been live for about 10 minutes. It's never great. I see the 87
Let's see this
here.
restart here.
Gets
Goes
another
early
great
again.
Jump. Gets another great jump. Pulls a 97 with him. But I noticed this time, Jonah Colbert is not letting Zach Wetstein just have to not fight for P3, but able to actually finally file in and top 5 running single file. But if you look a little bit further back, Cameron Combs, he might be damaged. He might be mangled. There may not be no straight sheet metal on that car, but he is still fighting. That's a warrior right there. That is a warrior.
Absolutely, as he just got around Spencer Gay.
He's trying to.
Still working on it.
Yeah, trying to. He's battling.
He likes that high line. I'll give him that. He likes the high line.
We've seen him up there a lot tonight. We really have. You see a lot of drivers, they'll elect to almost lose a spot if it means they can get down, because the high lane at Martinsville, it's not usually where you want to be. But Cameron Combs, he's proven that philosophy wrong.
That car runs him up the track a little bit.
Ooh, slight contact between him and William Griffith. I realized I cut you off. I thought they were wrecking. I was calling
You're absolutely fine. Not gonna lie, I thought they were about to start wrecking too.
Yeah, I thought he was getting ready to pile up right there. You see the 62 trying to close the gap on the 15. These are where the battles are in these races right here. You get these guys in the middle on these restarts, in the middle of the field. They got to get every position they can on the restart, because if you're able to pass a few on the restart, you do that a couple times, you go from running 12th to running 5th before you know it. It's when these cars get stretched out and there's a lot of gaps in between them, then you really got to work to pass that guy in front of you. You got to be quite a bit faster to pass that guy in front of you, and even then, you can be almost a full 3/10 faster, and as long as that guy in front of you is running the bottom, not making any mistakes, it's gonna be a task to get around him.
Absolutely, and speaking of gaps, Eddie Smith, he's put out at least his gap's over a second now on Chris Bass off after that restart. He's still running lap times that rival his fastest laps of the race. He's, those top 5 with their, as we see actually the 69 of Spencer Gay, he got a little loose at a 2. Cameron Combs gets around him. We got the 62 of Chris Reisman around him as well.
Yeah, shows
definitely got to get back into his rhythm.
Ooh, driver's in a little deep. I thought we were about to see some slight contact between the 69 and 62. And we may have if that 62 machine had a bumper, but no bumper, no problems, because there was no contact.
Absolutely. So we got that 88 looking to the inside of the 69 now. He's trying to get up there. He's got a relatively clean car for now.
He does. I was thinking that's funny you said that, because I was like, well, we missed the 88 because Charles is looking pretty clean and pristine still.
And then we see his rear bumper, and it looked like somebody took a sledgehammer to it.
Yep, yep. A little bit of false positive looking in the front. I do agree.
Everything seems to have kind of settled down for a little bit. These guys are getting that green flag run I was talking about.
As we come back here and look at your Smil Racing Designs, best paint of the night, number 27 of Steve Loving. We're loving that paint scheme, and currently up P14, gained 10 spots from where he gridded. So he's got a relatively clean car, Dalton. Now,
He
granted,
does.
there may be something I'm missing, not seeing, but he has a pretty clean looking car.
Looks like maybe a little bit on the left front, but that should be about it for
Oh,
him.
if I see Cameron Combs up here running P8, and if that's all the 27 has to worry about is that little bit of damage, oh, he's golden, because Cameron Combs gets into the wall right here. As soon as I switch over to him, got into the wall again. I bet that car's a handful to drive.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe him running that high line, maybe that's actually burning that right front tire up, like I was talking about earlier, and making it to where it's just getting worse and worse and snowballing and starting to push tight.
Maybe.
Wonder if he's got it. Oh, he gets a little loose,
Ooh,
and so does the 69.
69, I
Spencer
saw.
Gay goes around.
Oh, and these cars are just piling in. You got to get on the binders, boys. You got to slow it down, slow it down. You got a wreck on the back stretch. I'm sure people are screaming wreck on the back stretch, but you go from going 120, 130 to stop really fast.
Yeah, we had the 69 get loose. The 24 saw him, kind of followed him, and then the 8 was doing about the same thing. So those three guys. Oh, as we actually see Eddie Smith head down pit road.
Okay,
Zach
so
Wetstein too.
we're watching the Kinder Farms and Ranch replay right here. But yes, that 69 machine gets loose, and ooh, the 8 machine just took a hard lick into the 24 and then ultimately to the inside wall. But man, we got action upon action on pit road.
Yeah, Chris Bass stays out. Cameron Combs stays out. Josh Lokenvitz stays out. Steve Loving stays
Gonna be
out.
interesting here, Dalton. This puts the fastest guy on the track all night. It's going to put him back there in the pack. This is where the Hornet's Nest is.
Yeah, I can say I agree with taking the tires, but at the same time, getting put back towards the back of the pack, or well, not necessarily back of the pack, but like middle of the pack. I wouldn't be comfortable doing that right now with how this race has been going. So we would have to pay attention and see exactly what's going to happen here to this 87 car, if he can make it through the carnage.
So, Dalton, you have a program that shows where they took 2 or 4 tires, because I'm sure I do here in front of me, but we've already talked about these buttons I got.
Looks like everybody that did come down pit road there that's on the lead lap did take tires.
Took 4 or 2, can you tell?
4.
Okay, because Eddie Smith, I never saw the right side of his car jack up right then, so that's what I was wondering. Okay, I was thinking he would take 4 because it went. All I saw was the left side. That the 16's actually going down pit road now as well.
Oh, Chris Bass is in the pits.
And he is pulling off now. That may have been one of them things where he wasn't expecting Eddie Smith, the car that was in front of him. They were 1-2 when the caution came out. He maybe wasn't expecting Eddie Smith or even that many cars to pit, so it may have kind of forced Chris's hand a little bit and thinking, well, maybe I do need to go take my tires.
Possibly. Plus, he was in the pits for a little bit. He was in there for 34 seconds on my screen.
Yep.
So I think he was getting whatever damage he had fixed, because that might have been actually hindering him from being able to get up there and actually contend with Eddie Smith more. As, well, take a look who's in control of this restart.
The P&J Motorsports hard luck winner himself, Cameron Combs, and the number 15, leading the
modified class.
Saturday night modified series out here. It's really the Send It Cup series, but Cameron decided to play by his own rules. But look who is starting P2 on the outside, so he may have failed a little bit, but he didn't fall very much. Eddie Smith.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see what Cameron decides to do here on this restart. No green, I'm hearing.
Okay, they called it off, had driver still exiting pit lane by what it looks like on live
Looks like
timing.
they did delay the green. So, we got one more lap.
I thought they were gapped out a little bit right then. That was going to be an interesting restart here. If I'm
Yeah.
Zach Wetstein, I know I've been wanting to ride P3 all race, but I'm gonna try to shuffle that 87 car out. We,
Oh,
I,
at this point, it's going to be whoever can get around that 15 car first because
right?
they're on the fresh rubber.
Yep.
Once they get clear and they're in that clear, they're going to be long gone. We'll have to see exactly what that 15 car still has. Last time he was on pit road was 75 laps ago, so he's on some pretty old rubber at the moment.
But we do know his
So we'll have
car is
to
definitely
see.
lighter. As
Yeah.
he takes off and comes up in front of the 87, going to cut him off. I'm not sure if they have a lane change rule or not, but you see it. That Ford machine was able to get to the inside of the 87. Zach's going to look to the inside of the 15, going to try to get his first laps led of the night here at Martinsville,
Looks like he's going
and
to
he's
do
going to
it.
get it. He was able to clear that 15 machine with the 87, closing in the gap on the 15. But Zach Wetstein with the
Now, one thing Eddie Smith is going to have to do here, sorry to cut you
no,
off,
you're good. Go.
he's going to have to be as patient as he can get around this 15 car. As he gets that run out of two, that's exactly what he's got to do. Get underneath them coming out of the corner, clear them into the next one. Because that's the one thing you do not want to do. Get impatient trying to get around slower traffic that stayed out is on old rubber and potentially make a move that's too early for you to make and end up getting yourself involved in some sort of contact that hurts your car to the point where it's irreparable.
So we're seeing something that we haven't saw all night. And Eddie Smith is seeing something he hadn't saw all night. He's seen a lead lap car out his windshield for the first time tonight. It's interesting to see if it does to the eye test. Looks like he is closing the gap in maybe slightly, but Zach Westson's
Just
still
looking at the
turning
lap
pretty good laps.
times, he has been a tenth faster than the 4 car every lap these past couple laps.
Okay, so he is slowly but surely fishing that driver in. He's reeling that Ford machine in. But we talk about it every Tuesday night, me and Joe. It's one thing to get to the driver. It's a whole nother thing to try to pass him.
Mm-hmm. And this is going to be where that patience comes back in because Eddie Smith, he knows he's faster right now than Zach Wetstein. So he's going to have to be patient trying to get around him. He's got less damage. He's got the same tires. He's just consistently faster than that 4 car. So we're going to have to see because he's getting closer. It's just not close enough to where he can potentially make a move.
Right now, he's just trying to fill Zach's mirror up in his car. He wants to put that 87 machine as big as he can in that driver's mirror up in front of him. Maybe make Zach start mirror driving versus actually really driving. And then that's when mistakes come in. Whether it's real life racing, sim racing, it all is the same. And man, oh man, P1 and P2, they've kind of checked out on P3. And I'm trying to keep an update on Chris Bass. He's currently running P9. Let's get an update on him as he is trying to make his way through the pack. Currently riding behind the 88 machine of Charles Stevens Jr.
Yeah, he's just. This is where I think that patience is going to come into it.
You're exactly right. Patience.
He's trying to get a run. He's looking. He's not going to take it because he's so far back. Oh, I hear Zach Wetstein talking.
Kyle Roberts, I'm seeing, is crashed. Not sure. Yep.
Oh.
Let's go back and see. That was a long time before. Okay,
Looks like he might have. Let's see.
I don't know. I click on his name and nothing happens. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, he got loose coming out of turn 2.
Oh,
Same thing that we saw out of him on the restart. Same thing we saw out of the 15 a couple times. Just gets loose out of the corner and just along for the ride.
You know what that tells me, Dalton? And I mean, granted, I should have said this earlier, but it's showing us each time these drivers are doing this. They're getting loose on the exit. This car is on edge. It's right there on the edge. You're walking a fine line every time you're firing off of these corners. So you put just a little bit too much power down, have a little bit too much wheel in it, and you might be going for a ride. You got to be careful.
Mm-hmm. And I do see a question in our YouTube chat from Miss Amanda Sherman herself.
What we got?
Asking, what's the fuel run? Which, quite frankly, Amanda, we don't really know. We
Come
know
on,
they have
Amanda.
100% fuel. But we don't know because it's been a while since either one of us have run these cup cars around Martinsville, so we are not 100% sure ourselves how far they can actually go on 100% fuel around here. I
Come
would
on,
assume by
Amanda.
now they should be good to make it,
I think so.
but I
I
could be
think.
wrong.
I think so. I wouldn't bet the farm on it, but I do think so. But Amanda, you're supposed to be the sponsor. You're supposed to make us prop us up, make us look professional. Then you ask us a question we don't know. What's wrong with you?
Well, she doesn't know what we don't know until we tell her
That
we don't know it.
that wasn't a tongue twister by no means, was it?
Oh, so we actually have the 97 Chris Bass. He's in the pits again. Wonder
Ooh.
if he's got a little bit more damage, maybe.
Or let's watch it. We're watching them see if that car gets jacked up. That was weird
It
what it
doesn't
did.
look like it has.
It shook twice, but then nothing happened. So I'm not sure.
Maybe he might have been topping off. Because it might be closer than we think on
It
fuel.
very possibly could be. I'm not. You race with me every Sunday, and what do I cry about the most? Fuel, fuel, fuel. What do I don't know about the fuel, so I can't make no guesses, no educated guesses. That is, I can make guesses all day.
I want to say that stop from Chris Bass is just like an insurance policy to make sure he's got a little bit extra just in case.
It definitely never hurts to have a little bit more in the tank.
And this is going to be something else we haven't seen all night. A restart not under control by the 87. I know the last one with the 15 being in control was the first one. But now we got somebody on truly like 100% equal pace as the 87.
Equal playing field, yep.
Right up there, ready to go. We'll have to see what Zach Wetstein can do up here.
We got Jonah Colbert starting P3 and Garrett Kinder P4. Daniel D. Cunningham going to be rounding out the top 5. Going to be interesting to see how this shakes right here. So Zach Wetstein's going to lead them around turn 3 and 4. He's going to make them wait on it a little bit, but not wait too long. He gets on it strong. That's going to allow the 87 to get down. Zach got a great jump. That might be one of the best jumps we've seen all night here at Dalton. And that's going to leave Garrett Kinder and Jonah Colbert trying to sort it out. But Garrett Kinder's on the outside. I actually did find him a way to get down finally. Slotted in P4, closing the gap on Jonah Colbert pretty fast.
And we've actually got Eddie Smith. He's just still staying right there with that 4 car. Looks like right now these two are the guys. Obviously, Chris Bass was just as quick as the two of them. And then Jonah Colbert was trying to stay with them as much as he could. But the three of them seemed to be the class of the field at the moment. And right now with Chris Bass back there and currently it looks like 15th position. He's I don't want to say he's out of contention at the moment because there's still a long way to go. We haven't even hit halfway yet.
Yep, not yet. Cameron Combs goes really high again, brother. I think he's found out something that we don't know about Martinsville because he went really, really high again there.
Yeah, let's go take a look at Cameron. He might be letting cars by there.
I think that's what he's doing at this point because he's done it twice in a row now.
Yeah, it looks like he's just letting drivers by. Doesn't seem to really be wanting to hold them up too much.
We go back up front. Eddie Smith in that 87. He is trying to hound that 4 machine, but that 4 machine is looking stronger and stronger as this race goes on. It might be a tale of fresh air. Whoever's out front in fresh air. I mean, they got the best look out their windshield, and that time by, Zach Wetstein was actually a little bit faster than Eddie Smith, and was actually a little bit faster that time by as well. So, clean air may be the virtue here tonight.
And honestly, you would think that on a short track such as this, where your speeds are not hitting, nearly what they would on tracks like Daytona or Talladega, you wouldn't think draft would really be all that effective, or clean air would be that effective. But it's it seems to be just doing the job right now for Zach Wetstein, keeping him out in front of that 87 car.
I know I never thought it was ever a big deal, but I'll go down to Nashville Fairgrounds, my home track, and you watch them super late models rip around that track. And usually if a driver gets out front and is strong like Zach is strong here tonight, they're normally sitting golden because that clean air does them wonders. And that's allowing Zach Wetstein to keep a manageable little lead over Eddie Smith. He's definitely not gapping by no means, and he's not comfortable by no means, but he does have a little bit of breathing room in between them two cars. You see Jonah Colbert, P3. He's trying to get up there with them drivers, but Eddie Smith and Zach Wexheim, they've just showed good pace thus far.
We've actually got a couple passes for position a little bit further back in the field. Chris Bass, he's moved his way up into 11th position. He's now going to start hunting down that 43 car of Kai Shapart and try to get back up there towards the, top 5, top 10. Well, he is top 10, but get back up into that top 5 and be right there with Zach and Eddie up at the front of the field.
I'm showing him as P11. We're riding in the cockpit. He gets into on the curb and the grass a little bit there. He's trying to get his track position back, but man, these short track position is key. It is so valuable, and gave it up when he pit off cycle versus the leaders. Now he does have about the same amount of tires, but Eddie Smith, Jonah Colbert, and all them, they went in a little bit earlier. They went in one lap earlier under caution, and that's what's put Chris Bass back here originally, and then he pitted again. But as you see, the 43 out of his windshield trying to make a pass there. Should be able to clear that driver going into turn 1. He is, but we're seeing good patience out of Chris Bass. I will say that.
Yeah, absolutely. As this run does go on, these drivers, they're now starting to run low 20-second lap times. They were running 19.6s at the start of the run, so the tires are starting to wear just a little bit, where the lap times are starting to slow down. As we actually see the 75, he gets loose in the middle of 1 and 2. Believe that is going to be the caution. Yeah, as he is stopped sideways on the track.
I don't even have a notification for that one. The 75. Chuck Pegleg Phelps. Yep. That's strange. They didn't give me a notification.
Zach Wetstein heading down the pits.
Ooh, so we do have takers. Did Eddie Smith follow? Eddie Smith did not follow.
He did not. So we're going to have to see and we have Chris Bass go down. We have Josh Loganvitz go down. Brian Fines coming down the pits. See if these guys get their tires here.
We got the camera situated on Mr. Wetstein here in the number 4 machine. Gonna see what happens.
That right side is jacking up. He will be taking at least right side tires.
Yep. Chris Bass came in with him. 97.
And 4 tires for that 4 car. At least 2 tires for the 97. We'll see if it jacks up here in a second on him. It's like 4 tires for the 97 as well. So now we got that split strategy here. We got Eddie Smith out in front on the slightly older rubber that, again, I was just mentioning. Lap times were starting to slow down. He was running mid to low 20-second lap times. Zach Wetstein on fresh rubber was running his fastest lap. He ran that recently, and he ran a 19:53. So he's half a second faster than Eddie Smith was there at the end of that run. So we're going to have to see exactly how these tires are going to make a difference for Zach compared to where Eddie is at this point.
It's going to be the wait and see game. This could force Eddie Smith's hand. If they do get a green flag run, and that allows Zach and Chris both, or any other driver for that point, with fresh rubber to start coming up there and start to pressure Eddie Smith or get by Eddie Smith. That's going to force that driver's hand into pitting.
Absolutely. And again, back to the whole topic of fuel. I think these guys are all good to go on fuel. Maybe Eddie might be short a couple laps, but I'm thinking they're good. They're just taking fuel just to keep the handling in the car okay.
That's probably spot on right there, Dalton. That's why you're the man up in the booth with me. I like it. It's been a pretty good race. Not even just up front, but just like through the pack. Just some good green flag racing. Now we had some cautions, but That's just the lay of the land. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, sometimes you can't really help it. It's just short track racing.
That's just short track racing. It's funny. That was said at this track too. So
Let's see here. 87 back in control of the restart. What we're used to all night. He gets an okay jump. The 31 kind of stays with him.
31
It's not going to be
timed that
side by
really
side
good.
with him.
He did. He timed it pretty good though. But that 13 machine of Garrett Kinder, he is knocking on the door of Colbert and he's saying, "Honey, I'm home." As we see a pass on back, William Griffith in the modified division. He is trying to put that car up into the top four. Not able to make it stick right there on the inside. Daniel Cunningham able to get around. That's going to make William Griffith, though, got his nose kind of chopped off more than what it is right there. And that made Griffith have to lock the tires up, stay off that driver. Good heads-up driving by William Griffith in the 12 machine.
And if you notice, just behind them, we've got both the 4 and the 97 there right behind that 43 car of Kai Shapart. And they're just trying to be patient here and see what's going to happen. Looks like that 97 might try and use the 62 as a pick, but he's not going to be able to be on the inside of the 4, it doesn't look like. 4 trying to make that outside line work, as we saw Cameron Combs do earlier. Oh, he looked 3 wide for a second.
This is the danger right here. This is the danger.
And this is where patience, word of the night, this is where that comes in. The 4 looks... Oh, as we actually have Cameron Combs, it looks like goes around. That will be caution.
I saw that.
He did decide to tow. So I wonder if this is going to be... Wonder if he's putting it up on the hauler. Doesn't look like he is for right now.
So I focused on Cameron Combs and it didn't. It showed me Zach Wetstein. So something to do with the toe right there. I think threw it all out of sorts.
Yeah, but Cameron Combs did definitely
said he
lose it out of turn 2.
And he towed that machine to the pits. That's going to shake it up again. What does Eddie Smith do? That car out front. He's been one constant all night. Eddie Smith. He did get shuffled back a little bit. Not far. I think he went to third originally, wasn't it? After he pitted for tires.
Yeah.
So
it was up there somewhere.
Right. He was up in the top 5 for sure. He did get shuffled back, but not too far. He was able to pull that machine back up front. He was following Zach Wetstein for a little bit. Zach was actually top dog out here leading the train around Martinsville. Is he going to look low and go to the pits? He is not.
He's not. As well, I think we've got to make it official now. Cameron Combs' hard luck award of the night, because he has put it on the hauler. He is done for the evening.
Tough break for Cameron Combs. You fire the stream up. I hope you're watching it and you still get entertained, brother. We're bringing it to you live and in living color. That's Five Kings Network. I do want to also make mention, if anybody on Thursday nights, if you're needing a broadcaster, you can message me on Five Kings Motorsports, or you can look me up, Tanner Marr on Facebook. It's me and my little boy. I'm holding him. He's a baby at that time. It's my picture. Shoot me a message, and we'll get you hooked up and situated. We're new at it right now, and it may not be Dalton up in the booth with me that night. It may be somebody else, but we'll get better as we go on. Thursday nights, if any league is looking for a broadcaster, needing to book a broadcaster, contact me at Five Kings Motorsports on Facebook. I didn't see many even in the pit lane right then. Christopher Heiner did, I know. But
Steve Loving who pit, Chris Reese pit.
But most of our guys up front,
they all stayed out.
Yeah, they kept it up there.
Let's do a quick run through of the field right now. Eddie Smith is obviously still your race leader. Jonah Colbert in P2. Garrett Kinder in 3rd. Daniel Cunningham in 4th. And William Griffith is in P number 5. Charles Stevens 6th. Kai Shapart 7th. Chris Bass 8th. Zach Wetstein 9th. And Brian Fine rounding out your top 10. Josh Lokenvitz 11th. Tyler Gashke 12th. Matthias Swank in 13th, Steve Lovin in 14th, Chris Reese in 15th, Chuck Peglick Feltz in 16th, Justin Hendry 17th, Cameron Combs currently in 18th, But again, on the hauler, 19th Spencer Gay, 20th Kyle Roberts, 21st Joshua Thompson, 22nd Justin Ray, also on the hauler. Then we got Christopher Heiner, Sam Wetstein, Joey Buscemi, Brandon Wallace, and Mickey Isaac rounding out the field. As Eddie
Ooh.
Smith got another good jump
I
on that
almost
restart.
interrupt you right then. You didn't notice it, but Garrett Kendrick got completely sideways on that restart, and Chris Reese has actually went around, cautioning us out on the speedway. But Garrett Kendrick, man, he had that machine almost looking dead straight on with the inside wall on that restart. Just spun them like crazy. Lit them rear tires up on the restart. See what happened with Chris Reese
Ooh,
here.
looks like the 33 hit the 27, and that sent the 27 into the right rear of the 62 and sent him around.
Okay, something is going on. There we go. So, yes, we're watching it right here. Oh, yeah, just got into the 27, and then 27 got into the 62. They just played dominoes right there, and ultimately for the 62, he was the one that finally fell.
And that's just another more kind of, well, what can you do type of thing.
Right.
Because he didn't do anything wrong going into the corner. He
So
just got hit.
that Kinder's Farm and Ranch wreckage replay, it's getting some love tonight.
Yeah,
It's getting its FaceTime, that's for sure.
absolutely. And we love showing off the sponsors as much as we possibly can. But I think we need to take a little bit of a break from the Kinder Farms replays for a
Right, let's
second.
let's break off a green flag run here. Maybe see that Kinder Farm machine number 13 get up front though and lead some laps.
Yeah, again, that car doesn't really look that damaged. It's still got just a little bit of right side damage just behind the right front, maybe just right on the door. But that car still does not look bad. And actually, speaking of cars not looking bad, that 54 car, he's just got a tiny little crumple on the rear.
Daniel D.
And I
Cunningham.
think other than that, he's clean too.
That car's shiny, ain't it? It's really looking. That green is quite chrome to say the least.
Yeah, it's a wonder what some of these guys can do with spec maps now here on the paint side. Which, speaking of paints, if anybody needs any paints, make sure go to Smeal Racing Designs, look them up, hit them up, get those paints done. He'll do you right. He'll get you a good paint scheme.
Thought
Just
you were
hit them
going
up,
somewhere
Smeal
with
Racing
that.
Designs.
Thought you were going somewhere with that. Good job, brother. That's Dalton Kilroy. Helped me call the action on the booth for the Saturday night Send It Cup Series. We're live at Martinsville for the Sam's Words of Wisdom 250, brought to you by the good folks at over at the Keswick Group's Insurance. You can message them. Dalton can give you the email again.
It's going to be Reisman, Reisman getinsured@gmail.com.
There you go. That's the Keswick Group. Thank y'all for sponsoring this series and being a presenting sponsor and helping us put this show on the road here tonight.
Pace car is off that 87. He's going to go a little bit later than he has gone. He's going to still get a good jump. 31 kind of timed it, but he's still not going to be able to stay side by side with him, as the 13 and the 54 back there are still side by side.
They're trying to sort it out.
They're trying, but it doesn't seem like it's working too well at the
Ooh,
moment.
the 13 getting a little bit of contact from the 88. That's going to let the 54 get clear, and that's also going to bring the 12 to the 13. 13 got to the wall. Sorry, man. 13 got into the wall a little bit there as well. Chris Bass and Zach Wetstein, that's what they're seeing, all that corners out their windshield. That's not what these drivers want to see.
Yeah, as we actually see Chris Bass, he got ahead of Zach Wetstein. He's going to look underneath that 13, and he looks like he might actually make the pass on Garrett Kinder. He's going to get clear of him. See what Zach Wetstein decides to do. Whether he's Garrett Bass looking to the inside of the 43 again. He's actually going to get there on corner exit. Probably going to Looks like he is gonna clear him into turn 1.
He's going to clear that driver going into 1, possibly. Yep, he's going to get clear. Chris Bass is now setting his sights on William Griffin in that bright yellow and orange number 12 machine. Going to look to the inside. William Griffin kind of just gave him the preferred line, the bottom. Now Chris
Oh, the
Bass.
12. He got loose.
He did. He got pretty loose, actually. And then that's going to let Chris Bass lock his eyes in on the 54 machine of Daniel D. Cunningham. Chris Bass is picking him off pretty quick, but you see Zach Wetstein back here. We used to always say it whenever me and Zach broadcast together on Tuesday nights. Zach's in a box right now. He can't go nowhere. He's just boxed in. He's playing the patience game right now, and that's allowed Chris Bass to create some separation.
But we'll have to see on a long run exactly how much damage Chris Bass is doing to his tires, because Zach Wetstein, even though he is in that box and can't really go anywhere, sometimes that is a blessing in disguise. Because you'll be saving your rubber a little bit better than if you're just plowing through the field, just making your way up and back into the spots you should be. As Chris Bass just made this, looks like the 24 and the 8.
Yep. See what we got here.
Looks like the 24 and the 8 just made some
side by side going on the back stretch. 24 gets into him. It looks like they may hit twice. It looked like he took the second time to finally hit the 8 to get him spun around. I'm not sure those drivers too happy with each other. 8's trying to back it down off the track. And, ooh, the 31 almost got collected in that right there, Dalton.
Yeah, I have not heard anything over race chatter. I'm listening right now. I still have not heard anything from either of those drivers.
Chris Bass has worked his way up to P3. If you're Eddie Smith now, you rode out front for a little bit. Do you go down and take some for Mr. Feelgoods? If you're Chris Bass, do you follow? That's where you got to play chess out here racing. Can't play checkers, you got to play chess. And if I'm that 97 machine, if I see Eddie Smith go get tires, I'm taking him with him. We got 6 sets. Let's burn them. Let's use them if we're going to use them.
Yeah, I would have to agree there.
87 stayed out.
Especially with Chris Bass going through the field the way he did just right there.
Exactly.
He's going to at least have a little bit of wear on those tires, even though his tires are, let's see, what is that, 35 laps fresher than Eddie Smith?
Quick shout out to Emily Jane on the Raise Energy. She just brought it in here. You'll hear me pop that open. Use promo code 5KEY, get you 10% off your discount, or get 10% off your order. Man, we've been out here for a while. We've been out here too long, I feel like, at this point. We're still getting it, guys. We're firing off. We're trying to get better as we go. We're learning as we go.
Yep, trial by fire, as they say.
Yep, not by air. We're in fire.
And interesting enough, nobody went down pit road there, from what I can tell.
Actually interested in that. I mean, we didn't have a long green flag run. I'm sure you can tell me what the stint was right then, but it felt like we did click off some laps.
Yeah, we clicked off a decent number. I'd say at least
10?
10, 12 laps there.
And we're not being facetious when we say it like that. It's Martinsville, guys. This is a tough track. You started 30-something cars almost. Mistakes and accidents are going to happen. That's what I have to tell people, and I remind myself sometimes. They're called accidents. They're not called on purpose. They're called accidents, meaning accidents happen. And that's what we've seen tonight. We've seen some self-spins on corner exit. We've seen some drivers maybe get a little bit overzealous or a little anxious getting to the guy that's in front of them. But as far as the racing product on track, I'm very satisfied and glad to be on board with the Saturday night Syndicate Cup Series.
As pace car lights are off again. Gonna have the field back under control of that 87 car. Got to see, is he gonna wait as long as he did on that last start? Or is he gonna go early?
God, I'm hearing reports you need to check your phone real quick. Not sure what's going on.
I'm seeing it. I'm trying not to look. Trying not to pay too much attention to it.
Lights are off. Or green flag is out. Sorry, excuse me. 97. They got me all off kilter, guys. We're 162 laps in. Chris Bass is looking to the inside of Johnny Colbert. Going to actually be able to make it stick. Slight contact between them drivers in the 54. He's been our clean driver of the night. The car's still clean. Got no damage right there, but did get it sideways. Boy, oh boy. Great save by Daniel D. Cunningham, that 54 machine.
We got a
Ooh,
car going
another
around
car
the
going
back.
around the 79.
79.
That's Josh Lokenvents right there in that 79 machine. That was almost, before I even watched the replay, I'm going to say that was just a short track deal. We had other drivers getting loose, and Josh Lokovitz is not able to get it woed up and slowed up and got loose and just went around. Yep, just backs it into the wall. The best case scenario for that is the 99 gets a little bit of damage right there where the drivers wasn't able to check up fully. But the best case scenario for the 79 there, he kind of did back it into the wall, but didn't get very much damage from that caution. And that's your wreckage replay brought to you by Kendra's Farm and Ranch. Now, I'm not mistaken, I've talked to Garrett, but I think it's a dairy farm. And I think it's a pretty big dairy farm. Maybe Garrett Kander and Mr. Kander in that 13 machine. Maybe he'll finish in the top 3 and we'll get to chat with him. We can ask him.
Yes, sir. That's what we're going to need to do. But we still got another 85 laps here to go.
85 of them. And I do think we forgot to hit the pole award earlier, so I do apologize for that. Like I said, we had about 7 things we had to do, and we failed one of them. So the pole award, the Peg Leg Felts pole award earlier, that went to
Eddie Smith.
Eddie Smith. Thank you for that, because I honestly drew a blank right then. So Eddie Smith with the Peg Leg Felts pole award. Thank you, Mr. Chuck Felts, for the sponsorship. Thank you for supporting the league. Thank you for coming out and racing. That's the Peg Leg Felts pole award. Mr. Eddie Smith is your pole award winner. Next time we'll do it at the correct time.
Yeah, instead of waiting until...
We probably won't either, but we'll say we will do it at the correct time.
We'll try and get it sorted out where we do it at a somewhat more reasonable time.
Well, I just went through, we had this break in the action. I was like, I need to go look at the sponsors, make sure we've touched the ones we need to touch on, and nope, failure.
And by golly, we missed it.
Yep, by golly. By golly, son. Oh, man, the professionalness went out the window. I'm too young
to be saying that.
Yeah, way too young. You said by golly. And you see that pace car going down yonder there. He's going to... Light's still on that pace car, but by golly, they should be coming off this time around. In all seriousness, do you think Chris Bass, Jonah Colbert, or Zach Wetstein, I mean, there's still a lot of drivers out there, but do you think any of these drivers have something to contend with Mr. Eddie Smith, who's currently chasing win number 5 of the season?
I would say, just based off the current circumstances of tires, Chris Bass is going to be hard to hold off here, because once they both get going and they get into that rhythm, assuming a quick caution doesn't come out, right. I think Chris is going to have much better grip, and he's going to be able to make some of those moves and get around that 87 a lot easier than he was, struggling with earlier on.
Right, I totally agree. I think.
So let's see when he goes here. Waits a little bit, gets a good jump. The 31, he's actually going to be ahead of the 97.
So I think
he
the
might
31,
actually clear him.
I think the 31 got the best jump out of all. Yes, he wasn't the leader. Yes, he's not out in front. But that's about the first time tonight we've actually seen row number 2 fire off. Knew he's going to lock up the right front.
Oh, he pushes up the track.
He locked up that right front and just shoved the nose up the track a little bit. Gotten to Chris Bass. But I think no harm, no foul. These drivers are still facing forward. But that allowed William Griffith to put his nose in there in the battle, and there's slight contact between them drivers. And don't look now with that Ford machine of Zach Wetstein, that Ford Eagle 1, number 4. Slowly but surely, he's picking them off.
Yeah, here's that patience game as we actually saw the 12.
12 drives in there deep and just locks them up again. I thought Wetstein was going around for a ride there. I'll quit interrupting you at some point, I promise.
No, you're fine. I'm also here in the in race chatter,
Oh,
and
I
some
got you.
drivers are not happy.
Oh, really?
Some
You
drivers are
don't have
not
to
happy with some moves
elaborate
that it
on
just
who's
made.
saying what, but are they mad about the driving it in deep?
No, it is not the 4 and the 12. It is not them. It's a little further back.
Okay,
It's
okay, so
the
that's short track tempers.
Yeah, and that's exactly what was said by one person. He was like, "Hey, it's short track racing." The other person was like, he was upset that somebody pushed him up the track, I think.
And folks, if y'all want it, I'm sure there's drivers that are streaming their POVs out here, and I promise you, next week, if there is, we will get those pushed out. That way, you can get a raw look into these points of views on these races. Because I promise you, tempers do flare, and especially at short tracks, and that's when they're going to flare the most. And that's what I was talking about earlier. If you create an enemy early on in a race like this, like what we have tonight, you will eventually see your enemy again at some point. Whether you're racing them or you're trying to lap them, it don't matter. It's a short track. Y'all will meet up.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, while we are talking about some of these guys streaming on Twitch, we will also put out a warning in case you do
Absolutely.
head to their Twitch channels. They may not be 100% PG-13. They may not be PG. They may not even be rated G. They're gonna be some of them tempers, like Tanner was saying, tempers will flare, and some guys will drop some 4-letter words, some 5-letter words, some 9-letter words.
Oh my goodness, Chris. Sorry to cut you off. Chris Bass got really loose there, pancaked the wall. Not a lot of damage. I don't know how he saved that machine, Dalton. I'm so sorry for interrupting you. And I sound like
No,
a
that is
monkey. I was
perfectly
like, ooh,
fine.
ooh, ooh, ooh. But man, I thought that car was going around. We were getting ready to have a big shakeup. That allowed Zach Wetstein and that Ford machine to actually get around that driver. So now he's trying to lock his sights on Jonah, but Eddie Smith right now, he's got him a very comfortable second gap right now over Jonah Colbert. Zach Wetstein, he's trying to drive up to these drivers. We're gonna go on cockpit cam with Zach and see how he's attacking this track. There's only basically one racing line around here, but there's many different driving styles, and that's what I want to see here. He's driving it in really deep compared to that 31, and even still, he's getting a good launch off. He's really putting a lot of will into that thing, so he's on edge. You can definitely tell just by watching the cockpit cam here as he's trying to get that best rotation in the center and firing off strong. He's currently reeling in that 31 machine who has a lap car number 24 of Heiner in front of him.
And that's something we have not seen some of these drivers dealing with throughout this race. Guys getting around, or at least the leaders getting around lap traffic. We'll have to see exactly how lap traffic does play into it. It looks like Eddie's been getting through the traffic relatively well. They've been doing what they can to kind of get up and get out of the way. Um, and it doesn't look like it's really affecting his lap times all that much. Plus, he is catching them on corner entry. They're going up wide, and they're letting him take that preferred racing line and not really holding him up.
The thing
So
about that,
kudos to that lap traffic.
yes, but the thing about that is, people think that everybody just moves over for the leaders, and there's nothing in the rule book of oval racing that says you have to. That driver that's fighting not to go a lap down, he wants to stay on the lead lap, and so normally the leader has a harder time getting by the lap traffic versus second, third, fourth, so on back because after the leader passes that lap car, they're already a lap down. What's it matter then, you know? So Eddie Smith, I think if a driver's going to battle one of the leaders here tonight, they're going to battle Eddie Smith the hardest, trying to stay on the lead lap.
Well, I think at the moment, the only person that's really going to be in jeopardy of going one lap down instead of going a couple extra laps down is Matthias Swank in that 66 car. He's currently a little under 15 seconds behind the leader, so he's actually on. He should be just about a straightaway ahead of our leader, Eddie Smith.
Roughly, almost right out of straight away.
So he's getting close to getting put a lap down here, which that may not be the end of the world for him, but at the rates that our leader is catching him, he's gonna have to stay right on the tail of Eddie Smith to be able to actually get up there and stay the first car one lap down, because he's not too far behind other cars on the lead lap. As something I think we both missed. Zach Wetstein, he's gotten around Jonah Colbert,
He
and
has.
he's hunting down Eddie now. He's actually a little bit quicker than Eddie. That last lap, Eddie ran a 20.19. Zach ran a 19.97.
So
So
Zach's
full
still
two
turning.
tenths of a second there.
Zach's turning faster laps, and Zach was actually faster than the leader that time by. So you keep doing it at that pace, you will eventually start tracking down that leader. And now, folks, remember at home, Eddie Smith has been the fastest guy on the track all night. He's led the most laps, but Zach Wetstein's on fresher rubber, and Eddie Smith is having some traffic to deal with up in front of him right now.
I don't think it's going to be long now here, Tanner. Once Zach gets into that rhythm and they get around that lap traffic, I think he's going to catch right up to the rear bumper. That's 3 laps in a row now. Zach has been 2/10 of a second faster than Eddie Smith.
And that
So
adds
he
up.
is closing quickly.
That adds up really, really fast when you're turning about 19-second, 20-second laps. That 2/10 don't sound like a lot, but I promise you, in racetrack terms, that adds up really fast, and you're seeing it. It's passing the eye test here, Dalton. He's reeling him in slowly but surely, lap by lap.
And as soon as I mentioned that, Eddie Smith goes a tenth faster than he had been, and Zach Wetstein slows it down a little bit to
But
where Eddie was
still,
actually faster that lap.
he was 200ths faster that time by. Not a lot, not a big gap difference. I think these drivers have been close on speed all night. So Eddie Smith actually has the best lap of the race, I do believe, with a 19:45. But Zach
He
Westheim
does.
wasn't far behind with a 19:53. So, I mean, they're a blink away from each other basically when it comes to pace.
Hmm.
It's just gonna come down to a few things here at Martinsville short track racing. You know, you got lap traffic, you have wrecks, and you have tires. And I mean, all of them can spell doom and gloom for the leader. As you
And I was
see,
hoping you would not say that W word, because that's the last thing we need right now.
right. Well, we're closing in on
They're doing a good job right now. They're doing
yep,
a good job.
we're closing in on. We're getting closer and closer to 50 to go. So we're getting there. We're climbing the hill here. These drivers are clicking off laps. They've developed a rhythm now, like you mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Martinsville, it's a rhythm track. A lot of racetracks are pretty much, but Martinsville more than anything. You'll go out here and just start turning laps, and before you know it, you've done a 20, 30, 40 lap green flag run.
Yep, that's another crazy thing about this racetrack. And I forget what lap we went green, but it doesn't feel like it's been uh, that long. Where we've already probably ticked off another 20, 30 laps just in this run alone.
Zach
But
is closing in the 6/10, but it's almost plateaued there. These drivers, I
yeah,
mean, they're hundreds off each other each time around the track, each lap around the track. And I'm also noticing Zach is willing that machine now. Let's go back in on the cockpit view with Zach Wetstein as he drives in really deep to get by them lap traffic. He sees the 87 car out in front that he wants to get up there and make that car a little bit bigger in his windshield.
I think that 4 car, he might be battling a little bit of a tight, loose condition. I think he was pushing really hard to try to get up through through the pack, just like Chris Bass was doing earlier. And I think that right front is starting to hurt a little bit. And he's got so much wheel input into the car that it's starting to get a little loose on him on exit.
Now that Eddie Smith has caught lap traffic that's side by side, though,
Oh,
it's made it a little bit interesting, guys. Eddie Smith's going to get around that driver. Zach's going to get around him too, but right now I don't think Zach has the pace to actually get there and get around him. But he was faster that time by, but Eddie Smith was in contention with lap traffic.
yeah, and actually, now that I've noticed it, that 66 car of Matthias Swank that I was talking about earlier, he has been passed by these leaders, so they have gotten around him. I can't believe I missed it, but they are catching up to the 79 of Josh Lokenvitz, or I think it's the 79.
Yes,
Can't
yes,
really tell from here because
it
I'm
is.
leaned back in my chair.
So, I mean, when I think Martinsville, I think lap traffic, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. Now, it took us a little bit to get here, but this is what separates these short tracks from the bigger tracks because these short tracks It seems like no matter what, you do about 10, 15 laps green, and you are in traffic then.
Yeah. I will answer a question on the Facebook chat from Isaac. He's asking, where did Kinder go? Kinder is 5th at the moment. He's right on the back of that 97 of Chris Bass.
Got into some earlier incidents, not no race ending incidents by no means, but it may have hurt that car a little bit. He was running in the top 4, top 3, currently running P5 now. But still trying to reel in Chris Bass in front of him in that 97 machine. That time by Chris Bass was just a little bit faster than Mr. Kinder.
And back up to the battle leads. We actually have William Griffith going into the pits.
I wonder if that's a fuel
So,
thing.
very well could be.
I'm not
Maybe
sure.
we were overestimating how far they could go.
I'm not sure when William Griffith pitted. I can't remember.
He last pit 108 laps ago, the same time that Eddie Smith pit, Jonah Colbert, Garrett Kinder, and Charles Stevens. He pit with all of them.
So Mr. Swank in that 66 machine, he's in jeopardy of losing the lucky dog spot now because our leader, Eddie Smith, has gotten to the back bumper of Josh Lokenvance and going to pass him this time by on exit.
Yeah, that makes it now 14 drivers on the lead lap. Chris Reese in the 62 looks to be next up on the list. We'll have to see whether they can actually make it on fuel, or if William Griffith was just pitting for tires, which he did take tires, but he must be banking on
Just going green?
Yeah, that's about the only thing I can think of. Is he actually looks like he's gone back into the pits.
Ah, you may be in penalty territory then. Maybe you got a penalty, speeding penalty or something. You know, we talked about a while ago. You said it, and I definitely thought about it. I thought once Zach got past and got up to second, I thought he'd be able to just drive down Eddie Smith because Eddie Smith is on. By now, he's on quite a bit older tires than what Zach Westheim is, but Eddie Smith is holding. Eddie Smith is holding really strong. He's actually been faster like the last 5 laps by.
He has, and that. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that 4 car was again pushing so hard to get through the field that he sped up the plateau of the tires
Right.
because they've been just about equal. Obviously, Eddie's been a little faster because he's expanded that gap to, a little over a second and a half
almost
now.
2 seconds.
So Zach he's now dealing with lap traffic at the moment, and he's in that box again.
Just trying to find a way around it, but do it safely and cautiously. You made it this far. You're 211 laps at Martinsville. You see a lot of cars out here without bumpers. A lot of tempers are flew already. So if you can escape Martinsville after 250 laps, P2, that's nothing to hold your head down about.
Yeah. As we actually just had Chris Reese go down a lap, get passed by our leader. Next on the list for him is Tyler Gatsky. Again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. The 16 car, he's next. We have a caution.
Chris Bass, one of the drivers that have been up front all night, is actually shown red, but rolling now.
Ooh, it looks like he got loose. He got loose. It just turned on him out of turn 2. He did a 360 full on.
Looks like he was a little bit loose in the middle there. Oh, Garrett Kinder almost got featured on the wreckage replay. Kinder Farms and Ranch wreckage replay, but escaped by barely.
This one's a no-brainer here. Everybody is coming down the pit to get those 4 fresh tires.
Pit road. If you're on the lead lap here, it's going to be very, very busy.
Except for Daniel Cunningham. He stayed out. So Daniel Cunningham's going to be your leader unless he pits. I think Steve Loving's going to be second.
I think Zach Wetson had a problem getting into his box, so he might lose a couple spots here. Eddie Smith is rolling off. Zach's rolling off. Maybe not. Maybe he didn't
Doesn't
lose
look
it.
like he had much of a issue.
Did he not? Okay. We got a new
Yeah, it
leader
looks.
out front though, Daniel D. Cunningham in that 54 chromed out green machine. I know Jason Raymond, fellow Five Kings Motorsports driver, he's loving that green out front.
Well, as soon as I said Steve Loving and Chris Reese were staying out, they pit.
Of
So
course.
Daniel Cunningham is your only driver to stay out that was on the lead lap there.
Hey, just think. Hear me out here for a second. What if this race went the trend of the way it was the first portion of this race, where you didn't have very many green flag laps? Daniel D. Cunningham may look like a genius here. I mean, the laps trying to wind down.
I can see that, but at the same time, he's had 50 laps on this run. So he pit under, I believe, our last yellow or one of our last yellows, and he's on some relatively old tires. And on top of that, he has no buffer cars in between him and everybody that's on four fresh good ones.
Yep, that was my
Uh,
next point, though. He has
so
nobody in between him.
so he's got to get the jump of a lifetime on every one of these restarts and hope that it's caution, 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 caution. Because if it's not, he is going to get devoured by the rest of this field behind him.
So you see, I gave Jason Raymond a little shout out, and he wrote me and said thanks for the shout out. And yeah, so for ones that don't know, he's the kid on Five Kings Motorsports. We call him the kid, and I'm trying to break him of his favorite color being green now. But on the flip side, Daniel D. Cunningham has some green on his machine, and it looks pretty good and pretty stout, especially out front at Martinsville.
Speaking of out front, that pace car lights are off. So we are going to see exactly what Daniel Cunningham has here. Because we haven't seen much of him. He started ninth, but he hasn't really been running necessarily in the
He's had a
top five
quiet
all
night.
night.
He's had a quiet night.
Exactly. We haven't heard much from him.
Right.
And oh, the 87 times it
Oh,
really well. He's actually going to be ahead of Cunningham going into turn one. We'll see if that fresh rubber is going to power him by, which it looks like it's going to. He's got the run out of two. There goes Eddie Smith to the lead.
that's what Daniel D. Cunningham didn't want. He couldn't afford to have Eddie Smith get that good of a jump, and there was nothing Daniel did wrong. It's just Eddie timed it perfectly. Now look, another
Nope.
caution on the track with Mr. Pegleg Felts, I do believe. Let's go back and see.
Yeah, it's him in the 62. Looks like he started to get loose in the middle of the corner, and then the 62 looks like he hit him.
Oh yeah, just fighting for a little bit of real estate between the 75 and the 16 there is what I'm seeing. And ooh, your 27 machine that you picked for the Smith Racing Designs best paint also got him a little bit of a lick into that one. It's coming to lap number 221 this time by. This is when the gloves come off though. They have to come off. You're not just turning, clicking laps off at this point. Now if you're Zach Wetstein, Daniel D. Cunningham, Chris Bass, Garrett Kender, you can't just ride anymore. You got to try to get everything you can on this next restart, like we just saw Eddie Smith do.
I would say on this restart we need to go in the car of Chris Bass, because he's going to be looking to drive insanely hard to try to make up for that mistake coming out of turn two that brought out that caution after that long run. Because we know he's got the speed early on in the race before before anything really happens. He was right on that back bumper of Eddie Smith. So he could get up there, and if he plays his cards right, he could battle Eddie Smith and be exactly what drivers like Zach Weststein need, Garrett Kinder, Jonah Colbert. He could be the catalyst for somebody being able to knock Eddie Smith off that throne and keep him from getting win number 5 this season.
Very well could. I mean, I'm not sure how many wins Mr. Zach Wetstein has, but he could be a catalyst as well. I mean, it's just anybody, man. It's anybody's game here. As I think we're gonna have our young gun, Jason Raymond may join us up in the booth late. be a late entry. He was going to call the race with us, and now he wants to come, Dalton. After crying, saying that he didn't know if he could do it or not. Now he's wanting to come in at lap 2:22. Ain't that something?
See, now's when we gotta play the tough love card and be like, you know what, you didn't want to do it earlier, you're not doing it now.
Right. I do agree.
Maybe next week.
All right, I gotta treat him good though. He's been painting me a lot of cars here lately. He's taking care of me in that aspect. But
All
man,
right, if
oh
you're gonna
man,
get soft on me,
right. I got a heart somewhere deep. It's down in there somewhere, you know.
gotta dig really deep to find that one.
If you could, Dalton, hit me with the presenting sponsor one more time. You do such a mighty fine job at it.
Oh, you think I do? Oh, that's awesome. Well,
There's a
we
heart
got to
again.
give another big shout out to Jason Reisman Insurance and the Keswick Group for being the series sponsor. You can get insured at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. Just hit them up for any of your insurance needs, and they will be more than happy to help you out.
Also, can't forget the other sponsors that don't get as much love, but they still work behind the scenes. E-Racing TV, Intensity Broadcasting is where we're at now. Reaper Racing, Flexible Freight Solutions, Meza Motorsports, Goat Locker Racing, and JC Motorsports. As the 87 gets a great launch, Four Machine's going to try to battle him, but he's just going to have to look low and not really got to battle anybody too hard getting down. He's able to drive to the back bumper of the 87. This battle's heating up as we're coming to 26 laps to go, 25 this time by, Dalton.
Yeah, it is go time now. We got to see exactly what these guys can do. Zach is closing in. He is right on that rear bumper of 87. Do we see the bump and run tonight?
I want to
I think
say
we do if Zach gets close enough.
Jesse just informed me we've not had another winner aside from Eddie Smith and Chris Bass. So Zach Wetstein, he's so fast. I'm surprised to hear that. So you might see a little intimidator come out of Zach Wetstein. That 4 may turn to a 3. You might see a little bit of a bump and run. If Zach's able to get to that bumper, as we're going to be 23 this time by, these laps click off fast, folks. You better strap in. It's about to get hot and heavy as we're coming to 23 to go this time by.
And I see that soft spot has kicked in. We're joined in the booth by the kid, Jason Raymond.
Jason, you've been watching this race thus far. Give me your thoughts on it as we're coming to 22 to go. Right on, Jason. Thank you for the input, brother. We appreciate that. As you see, Zach Wetstein, he's still right there within striking distance or within striking distance. He's not nearly close enough yet, though.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing here. It looks like he's pushing a little tight coming out of the corners and not being able to get as good of a drive out. So I think right now he is driving that 4 car really hard to try to get to the 87 as he actually taps the wall.
And we have
a caution a little further back.
All right, Mr. Jason Raymond, you got a copy now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was having some mic issues over here.
As we go back and see what's happened to Josh Lokovitz in that 79 machine. I think that exit Gremlin got him. It got him, Dalton. We've seen it all night. Jason, we've seen it all night.
Yep.
Jason, I want to throw it over to you real quick, Jason. You left us high and dry. Didn't want to call the action with us tonight. But you've watched all the laps thus far. Give me your thoughts on what's happened. What do you think about the race?
It's been a pretty good race so far. I mean, there's a good group of guys that are right on pace with each other. But as you were saying, that exit seems to be a big issue for these guys tonight as they're fighting big time all corner exits around the track. You know, we've seen a lot of wrecks caused by that looseness on exit, but I feel like that's just part of racing. You got to kind of deal with it, and we've seen it all night, like you said.
You're exactly right. I mean, they're racing. They're not just driving on the interstate. They're out here. They're trying to get every little inch they can out of this car, trying to get every tenth they can off a lap, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But one thing has been for certain: Eddie Smith, Zach Wetstein, Chris Bass, Jonah Colbert, Garrett Kinder. That's your top 5. They've been pretty strong all night. Garrett Kinder has had his hand in a few incidents. I don't think any of them's been his fault thus far coming in. to 17 to go. But I think you might want to put the seatbelt on, get the popcorn, because I think some fireworks about to go off at Martinsville here.
We got to pull them belts tight one more time, ladies and gentlemen, because it's still going to get crazy here. And something else we have not really talked about a lot lately, Eddie Smith still has a clean car. Is he going to keep that car clean for these next 15 or so laps? Or is something going to happen that he's not going to be able to show off that picturesque paint scheme doing a burnout before he gets absolutely demolished by the field?
Or Mr. Zach Wetstein. I've said his name a lot because I have faith. I believe that we can have a first-time winner here tonight at Martinsville. Whether that's Jonah, Garrett, Brian Fine. Brian Fine is P6 right now, Dalton, and we saw his car. It was mangled, and we're talking 5 laps into the race. Was mangled, and currently running P6. So that shows if you stick it out even after you get damaged, you can take a night that's going to be a terrible points night for you, and you can mitigate that some. And boy, oh boy, he's mitigated a lot.
Looks like they're lining it up here. Pace car lights should be going off here. They are. It's going to be back under control of Eddie Smith here on this restart, as it has been for much of the race tonight. We got 15 laps to go when they go green here. This is like I said under that last restart. This is go time. Are we going to see Chris Bass pull a Clint Boyer move from a couple years ago and take out these first two? Well, we have to see. Can he get that jump? 87 goes early. He's going to clear the 4. 97 is inside of Zach Wetstein. What's going to happen here? Zach looks like he's going to clear the 97.
He was. We're cockpit cam with the 97 right now. Zach got a good drive and a good launch off the corner 2 right there. But Eddie Smith, that's what he loves seeing in his mirror. Them boys fighting and battling going into turn 1. But Zach Wetstein now, he's locked and loaded. He's closing his eyes on Eddie Smith. We're on board with Zach Wetstein right now as he's trying to get to Eddie Smith. I want you folks at home, and I want Dalton and y'all to watch how hard this driver is driving it in there. He's trying to get everything he can now because, like we said, it's go time. Gloves are off. And then we're going to switch over here to Eddie Smith. We're going to see how DP's driving. He actually looks a little bit more calm and collected out front here. But he's the chasee, not the chaser, and that's always a big difference.
One thing I am noticing, I think this may be an audio glitch, but it sounds like these guys are shifting.
Yeah, not
in my view, so I think I might have an audio glitch going on.
Jason, you're going to quit talking so much, man. You're cluttering us up.
Deafening, man.
I'm enjoying the show, man. I don't know.
Eddie Smith, I tell you what, he's another driver that's enjoying it. If 87, if he's your driver, Eddie Smith, you're feeling good right now as we're coming to 10 laps to go this next time out of turn 4, and this is where the drivers in real life make their big bucks, and this is where the sim racers make a name for themselves right here. 10 to go for the Saturday Night Send It Cup Series. This is the Sam Words of Wisdom 250. 10 laps to go. Martinsville Speedway, folks. Is win number 5.
Oh, caution. Caution
Kyle
is
Roberts
out.
Has went around. I was saying is win number 5 on the horizon for Eddie Smith. But this 35 machine, I'm going to guess here, folks.
Loose bandit.
Yep.
Loose bandit.
I think he's just going to get loose right there. That turn 4 and turn 2 gremlin has bit again.
Yeah, obviously it's been a problem all night. None of us have driven the cars. None of us know exactly what the setup's doing. We'll figure it out from our top 3 when we get them up in here for interviews at the end of this race, whoever they may be. But it's looking like it's going to be pretty close to a green white checker. I want to say it'd be 3 to 4 laps to go when they do get the green flag going again. We just took, I believe, 8 to go crossing the line there. Yeah, it looks like 8 to go.
Yes, sir.
So this is going to be This really is not what you wanted to see if you are Eddie Smith, as he's kind of
Absolutely
faking
not.
going into the pits.
Absolutely not. You didn't want to see that caution. He didn't have no huge gap, but it was comfortable. It was manageable. And now you got to re-rack him. Try it one more time. Try to get a good launch. Hopefully, he's thinking he wants to look up in that mirror and see Zach Wetstein, Chris Bass, Jonah Colbert. He wants to see all of them drivers side by side battling it out.
Hearing what these guys are talking about at the end of this race. We got Eddie and Zach just talking. We know Zach's mentioning that on the rear bumper of Eddie's car, he'd rather have hammer time than trigger time.
Man, oh man. This is. I thought it was getting interesting with 20 to go. It's getting to be a little bit more interesting.
Oh, absolutely. At this point, these guys have they've made their bed, they've laid it, and it's time to reap what they've sown. Because these guys, it all comes down to this. You would think after 250 laps, there'd be a lot more where it'd go down to.
It just comes down to who's going to be that top king on Five Kings Network whenever that checkered flag finally flies here at Martinsville. Intensity Broadcasting, bringing you all the coverage live and in living color.
Pace car lights are off, and yet again, it's under control of Eddie Smith. It's going to be 4 laps to go once this pace car goes off. If I know Eddie Smith and how he's been doing his starts, he's going to go extremely early, get out. Yep, there he goes. Really early. He's out. Zach kind of stays with him. We'll have to see. 4 laps to go. What is Zach going to do?
Zach
Getting
drove
up
it in
on
deep
that
right
high
there.
line.
Zach did
I think
drive
he's
it in
trying to
deep.
get a run.
But with Zach driving it in deep, you hit on a while ago. That's not letting him. That's not allowing that car to get the rotation and the launch off he really needs. And at 87, he's just smooth right now. He's been really smooth all night, but he just looks like he's super focused in right now. But now is the time where you don't want no mistakes. You don't want no more cautions. You don't want an overtime finish for your Eddie Smith.
Good. Coming to 2.
Caution is
Caution?
out.
Caution is out.
We're going to be overtime racing as Christopher Heiner here. Coming down the front stretch. I heard some carnage already before. Ooh, the 99 just got in there hot and heavy. And I would have
Looks
to
like
think...
he just sent him.
I would have to think tempers are flaring at that point.
I know we definitely heard, or I heard Mr. Zach Wetstein just say, I just want to go home.
I understand. Got an overtime finish here.
It's going to be a green-white checkered.
Green-white checker, baby.
All they're going to need to do, go 20 to 22 seconds. And then it'll be the last lap.
Yep, and then like Joe says in the booth every Tuesday, he said, y'all can line them up and run over each other and kill somebody out there on the track and no caution's going to fly then. I always kind of chuckle a little bit because he used that same line every Tuesday night, and it cracks me up.
He's not wrong though.
No, he ain't. I mean, it's the truth. I always thought, until he started saying that, I never really thought about it, but I was just under the assumption that if the caution fell after the white flag was out, that the race was just finished. But the way he talks, they just don't throw a caution on the last lap. They might not. I don't know if I've seen it or not. I can't remember. And I don't think we're going to find out here tonight. I think these boys are going to get it in and get it done. One overtime finish. I wish I knew who the sponsor was for overtime finish. If there is one. If there ain't, we're going to make it our own BAM Racing videos. That's Brandon Mettler. a fellow teammate over at Five Kings Motorsports, Brandon Mettler. He goes around to all the local tracks, any famous local track you can think of. We're talking grassroots racing style, short track oval racing. He's been as far northeast as Stafford, and he's been down to Five Flags, New Smyrna, as far as southeast. He's went Midwest some, and I think he's even got trips planned out to Las Vegas. And he's actually working with some really big name people in the whole media side of things of the real life short track grassroots racing. Films the big Legend Series down there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Landed that gig this season. That's BAM Racing Videos over on YouTube.com. Check him out. Go subscribe. He's closing in on, I think, 5,000 subscribers. So he's getting a little bit of traction as he's going. BAM Racing Videos, YouTube.com. Let you know we sent you.
Looks like we are about to have this pace car shut its lights off. Yep, pace car lights are off.
And it's gender
It
neutral.
is go time.
No type of branding on that pace car whatsoever. Reminds me of a Ford Fusion and a Kia in the front. Then you look at the back of it and it just hits me for a switch hit. I don't know what kind of car that is. When I look at the back. Almost like a Tesla too, Dalton, in the front.
I can see that. Looking by the logo, I think it might actually... It looks like a BMW too.
Yep.
In a way.
There's like 7 cars mixed into that.
Speaking of cars, that 87 went early. The
Yes.
4 got a little loose.
Yep.
Here comes Chris Bass to the inside. He might be the spoiler here for second.
Now when they started, it was Eddie Smith, P1, Chris Bass, P2, and Zach Wetstein, P3. And right now, you got Chris Bass. He is fighting on the inside, or was, but not able to make it stick. White flag is out this time by. It's the final lap. And as I say, you can line him up and kill him right here, but we're ending this thing this time by as Eddie Smith exits turn 2 really strong, going down to turn 3 here. And it's going to be Eddie Smith coming out strong. Been a strong performance for his first night ever on the Five Kings Network. Secured win number 5 of the season, Dalton. That's the 87 machine of Eddie Smith. Qualified P1, and oh my goodness, here it comes.
Here we go.
They've already started hitting.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Here
He hasn't even burnt it
Go.
down yet. They said they're tired of seeing him win.
Yeah.
Come on, where's everybody else at? Drill him. No burnouts, no nothing.
The 99 drilling the wrong car.
Yep, wrong car there, buddy. That's the Rebels Smash 'em Up. Presented by Original Rebels Racing. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the 31.
I just woke up my son sleeping, but it was worth it. I'm sorry, Tubbs. I love you, Caners.
Oh, somebody else came in flying.
This is awesome. Chris Bass doing a light show on pit road. Don't run over no spectators. That 31 just came in hauling the mail, brother. Hauling the mail.
Absolutely.
Let's see if we got any more carnage out here on the track. 27's looking to find him somebody. It's a good way to relieve some aggression. We might steal this for Crooked Line. As a 12 and 27, I don't know if these boys know this race is finished. They're still out here turning laps.
Yes, sir. Trying to see.
As we'll get
Trying
our
to figure out
post-race.
where Chris Bass is. I do not see him in Discord. Chris Bass, if you can hear me, if you're watching, need you in Discord.
As we're gonna get up the Shappy Edits post-race interview as soon as we find our top 3 finishers for the Sam's Words of Wisdom 250 Martinsville Speedway. That's the Saturday night Send It Cup Series. I always want to say full send because I'm always in full send mode. But the Shappy Edits.
There's Chris Bass. All right. Let me get him up here real quick.
And I'm not really sure.
Chris Bass, 3rd place finisher. You got Dalton, Tanner, and Jason up in the booth. You got a copy.
I got you.
Listen, man, you had an eventful night up and down. Started off P2, ended P3. Tell us about your night. Walk us through it.
Well, it was eye-pacing at its best there. Yeah, it was all right. Martinsville's just tough, I guess. But yeah, I got doored there on a restart. I was running second, and it knocked the toe end out of it. And once the toe got knocked out, I just kind of held on and ended up looping it in front of Kinder, which I'm honestly glad he has the presence of mind to miss stuff like that. So saved me there. Came down, got some tires, and ran back up to third. So nobody had anything for Eddie and Zach. So just one of them nights.
Well, I absolutely agree, man. Listen, is there anybody on that 97 car that you got to thank here tonight?
Yeah, I'll thank Rocket Racing Setups for all the stuff they do, and um, Red Eye Designs and V1 Rotate for their support, and I guess the league and everything for they do, and you guys for the great broadcast. So I guess that's it.
All right, man. God, this is the first time doing this. We're gonna go ahead and let you get back down in your team channel, celebrate a little bit. Congrats on P3 and getting back up there after having a couple incidents not go your way.
I appreciate it, guys.
That was Chris
All
Bass right there, folks. Number 97 started P2, lost one spot when the lap 250 finally flew. But like I said earlier, 250 laps of Martinsville. If you can escape with a podium finish, that's a winning night right there. Now we're going to try to find Mr. Wetstein, Zach Wetstein in the booth.
What's going on?
Listen, man. Congrats on P2. Started third, gained a spot. Tell us about your night. Walk us through it. How did you maintain being up there in the top 3 pretty much all night?
Well, to be honest with you, just the cautions. I mean, we didn't really get a chance to race much up there. And I don't think it really would have mattered if we were given a chance because Eddie had a heck of a car per usual. And I had the one time where I pit and fell back to about 10th. And thankfully, I was able to work my way through the field and get back to second. But once again, just nothing for Eddie in the end.
So Dalton, I want to come in here real quick and ask you, Zach. So I noticed you the first portion of the race, I'll say about the first 60, 70 laps, when there was a couple cautions in between there, y'all wasn't ever really to break off a green flag run. I kept noticing you never really tried for second. Was that basically you saying no? I'll stay third. I'll take my inside line restarts.
Absolutely. Nothing else to it, really. I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't think I would have had issues restarting second, but I didn't want to test my luck. So,
Not worth
I
it.
mean, I run around Eddie and Chris all the time, it seems like. And, I mean, we all have gotten used to how each other run. And so with him and with Eddie and Chris ahead of me, I was more than fine sitting in third, especially since it was the first 60, 70 laps of a 250 lap race. So that was basically the plan of just chilling in third.
Well, 10-4, man. Once again, congrats on P2. Is there anybody on that 4 car you got to thank here for tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. My Extreme Motorsports teammates, some of them had a tough night tonight, but still stuck it out and got to the end and gained a couple of positions from it. Got Jason Reisman Insurance and Keswick Group. Thanks for them for sponsoring the series. You got Seth Griffith, Kinder Farm and Ranch, Shappy Edits, Smeal Racing Designs. They do Smeal just, I mean, he does a bunch of paint schemes in this league. Magic Mike Motorsports, Peg Leg Felts, P&J Motorsports, and E-Racing TV, which we're on every Saturday, so that's fun. And you guys for broadcasting, for coming in and taking over that role, and then Matt Geis and all the guys who put this league together.
I'll be honest, Zach. It's not like you've went through that laundry list a time or two, but good job tonight, brother. P2, right at home P2. Can't never complain about that at Martinsville.
Absolutely not. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
You too, buddy. There you have it. That's your second place finisher, Mr. Zach Wetstein, in that number 4 machine. Had a laundry list of sponsors there. It's always nice to hear. Me being a quote-unquote team owner, I love when the sponsors get their shout-outs.
Yeah, and that just leaves us with one last driver. Eddie Smith, you got a copy. Dalton Tanner in the booth.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Eddie, brother. So I want to. I know 250 laps, but I want to go all the way back. at the start of this race, it was there was one constant, and that was Eddie Smith getting a great jump on these restarts, and you never took playing games or nothing like that. You just fired off strong. What was your plan coming in tonight, putting it P1 and firing off the way you was?
Well, first and foremost, and I'll have to go back and look at it, but I believe I caused that first pile up on the first lap. I spun my tires on the inside there. I didn't know what it would do, and so I spun my tires, and people had to check up. So anybody that was caught up in that, man, I'm so sorry. I hate to be even inadvertently a reason somebody gets in trouble. So want to say sorry about that. But yeah, it was it was a tough race to get through. It was more like trying not to. I don't know. It was almost like a stamina check, just constantly having to restart and cautions and trying to just play the strategy and stay out front, try to stay up front as much as we can. It was just so hard to pass. So yeah, I mean it's good to get a win. I'm always proud to beat racers like Jonah Colbert, Zach, and Chris and Garrett. I mean, winning with those guys in the field is a hell of an accomplishment. So I'm happy to do it. It's a
Absolutely.
good win.
Absolutely, Eddie. I used to race in this series a while back, and there's one thing. I mean, the competition in this series is unmatched, and I mean it shows. I mean, I know you got race win number 5 tonight. Chris Bass was going for race win number 3. So I haven't got to look at the point standings or how many races is in this season, but I'd have to guess you're pretty comfortable in the points as much as you could be. What's your outlook on the rest of the season?
Um, yeah, it's man, just trying to get top 3 every race. I feel pretty good about it. I don't know. It's hard to say because these guys are every week somebody else is up there running their ass off and really fast. So it's going to be a constant struggle to keep that points lead um so I just trying to finish the best I can every week. That's just what I'm gonna try to do.
I hear you, buddy. And that 87 machine, I know it has JC Motorsports behind you, backing you all the way, but you got any other sponsors to make that car go around the track fast every week?
Yeah, we got a new sponsor this week, Trigger Time. It's a indoor shooting range in Tupelo, Mississippi. But they also have an online store and stuff that you can go on and check. And if you need something, looking for something, you might find it. The website's ttigr.com. There's another Trigger Time. It's in Georgia, but this one's in Mississippi. So glad to have them on board, man. Really excited to show them off and and also always thank my teammates. They make the race fun in our little chats, and they also do a good job of trying to figure out strategy and stuff. And so we were able to get a win, and it's sort of a team win whenever one of us wins. So
That's the best way to look at it. And that was Trigger Time in Mississippi. Hit us with the website one more time, Eddie.
ttigr.com.
Yep, that's for indoor shooting range, but they have all kinds of apparel on their website. Check them out. Eddie, it's been the Sam's Words of Wisdom 250 at Martinsville, and you claim the trophy here tonight, brother. Maybe we'll be talking to you next week. Congratulations on your win tonight.
Thanks, fellas. I want to thank y'all for coming on board, man. It's really awesome that y'all decided to pick us up. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. We love being here. Thank y'all for having us.
All right, have a good one.
All right, Dalton. We've been here for a while. It was a good race. I mean, Eddie Smith, he sounded like a class act right then. He won the race, and it was a long race, but he still, first thing he said was, I apologize from an incident that happened on lap 1, folks. So that just shows the character of that driver in that 87 machine. So hats off to him. Want to send it over to Dalton real quick for one more presenting sponsor, and I'll get his final thoughts on the race, Jason's final thoughts on the race, and then we'll be wrapping it up.
Well, before we get final thoughts on the race, believe we also have a couple more. Don't we have a couple more awards we got to give out potentially? I know we got
Possible.
the hard luck. We got the best paint. We got
So
the
look,
pole award.
we'll come back and we'll do the hard luck one more time. Since we did kind of give that earlier on in the race, so for your P&J Motorsports Hard Luck Award, Who do you got, Mr. Kilroy? Did your choice change from earlier in the race?
From what I gathered, it did not. That 15 car just had terrible luck this race, so it's still going to go to the 15 for me.
That's Cameron Combs. I mean, a lot of it wasn't even his doing. And like I mentioned earlier, some days you're the windshield, other days you're the bug. And Martinsville, I'm sure this is a race that he's going to circle on the calendar next season and be sure to be sick that night or something, because that P&J Motorsports Hard Luck Award, it only goes to the people with the hardest of luck. And tonight, that was the driver of the number 15, Mr. Cameron Combs. And then, Dalton, we have the Ray Cobb Hard Charger Award. I didn't get to know Ray Cobb, but a little background into what I do know about Mr. Cobb. He was a fellow racer in this series. He supported this series from the ground up. And I'm wanting to say he passed away due to cancer. So, Ray Cobb and Ray Cobb's family, y'all will always remain our thoughts and prayers being in this series. Even though we just came on board, I was around when the news first broke. So the Ray Cobb number 45 Hard Charger Award tonight, Dalton. Do you know who it's going to go to?
Yes, I do. It goes to that 79 car of Josh Loganvitz. Started 27th, finished 10th.
So
17 spots gained tonight.
17 spots. That's a good night at Martinsville. A track it's very, very tough to pass that. You can't beat that. I mean, you passing 17 cars when you're at Martinsville, that's a task that a lot of people don't even want to attempt. But I mean, he did it and did it well. Gotten a little bit of carnage throughout the race, but man, we saw a lot of cars out here that did have some carnage. So just like Denny Hamlin said, talking to Joey Gano, that's just short track racing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it on our awards. Well, we got the best paint. The Smeel Racing Designs Best Paint Award. Hit me with that. Who you got in that? It was the 27 earlier. Do you stand by that pick?
Kind of. Let me. I was still kind of thinking about it, and just at the end there, yeah, thinking about it more. I'm gonna stick with that 27 car.
27. And I got to stick with my race winner, Eddie Smith. Brought it home tonight with the win. I want to thank all the sponsors. We have y'all loud and proud on the board. You got Peg Leg Felts with the Pole Award tonight. Ray Cobb sponsoring the Hard Charger. P&J Award. Smeel Racing Designs for the best paint. And as always, hit me with that presenting sponsor one more time, Mr. Kilroy. Oh, wait, Shappy Edits for the post-race interview. Thank you as well. But one more
Good
time,
catch.
Dalton. Hit me one more time with it, brother.
You got Jason Reisman Insurance and Keswick Group, where you can get some pretty good insurance at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. And also got to give a shout out to our secondary sponsor, Seth Griffith, for having a pretty good run out here tonight for the most part. Didn't really seem like he was involved in too much. Still finished P16.
I think that's the same. I think that's a father. And I think, and I may be wrong, but I think Seth used to race with us, and I think that's William's father. But I may be thinking of somebody else. All right, Dalton. Before we go, I want to run through the grid real quick. I kind of put that off and forgot. Like we said, got Eddie Smith, P1, Zach Wetstein, Chris Bass. That's right after P3. Jonah Colbert at 31. That was a good-looking machine. Coming from JC Motorsports, P4, and Mr. Garrett Kinder. That's Kinder's Farm and Ranch. I don't have their decal. I need to get that. But they were the wreckage sponsor, and I guess we showed them so much tonight they don't need to be seen no more, I guess. Mr. Brian Fine and that 57 had a lot of damage, brought it home respectively.
P6.
P6, right. Justin Hendry, Charles Stevens, Daniel Cunningham, Josh Local Events. That's your Ray Cobb Hard Charger Award. That's your top 10. Steve Loving, Chuck Feltz, Chris Reese, T.S. Swing, Tyler
Gatsky, I want to say.
Right.
I could be. We could both be really wrong on that.
That's your top 15. William Griffith, P16. Spencer Gay, P17. Kyle Roberts, P18. I don't know how to make it go no further. Oh, Joshua Thompson, P19. Sam Wetstein at 98 machine, P20. Kai Shapper, P21. Christopher Heiner, P22. Joey Bashimi, Brandon Wallace, Cameron Combs. That's the Hard Luck Award from P&J Motorsports. That's around your top 25. Justin Ray, Mickey Isaac, Charlie Gates Jr., and Magic Mike. That's going to round out the field here tonight. A few of those drivers didn't grid up, but their names there, so we're going to say it loud and proud. Dalton, I will say thank you for coming on board with me. Matt wrote me last Saturday, asked if we would come on board and try our hand at broadcasting. And although tonight did not go perfectly, I I think it went good, and I thank you for joining me in the booth, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I echo exactly what you just said. Tonight may not have gone perfectly, but it's Martinsville. Things are going to happen. So let's just look forward to next week, and I'm sure these guys will give us a good race. I know they will.
I think they will.
I've
But
got faith.
for that, it's been Tanner Marr, it's been Dalton Kilroe, and we even had young gun Jason Raymond join us for the tail end of the race. But for now, we're going to close shop. The garage doors are coming down. Lights are turned off. The Sam's Words of Wisdom 250 with the Send It Cup Series at Martinsville, 250 laps, is a wrap. It's in the history books. And you had Mr. Eddie Smith in the 87 bringing it home. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for bringing us on board. And we will see y'all